to be heard. It's hard to yell to get hold of the gun. My lights is deep pretenders, it's too late to take off your miters. My intentions might seem pretentious, but I'm just not here to fuck spiders. In relentless fighters, prospects, fantasy, life's uniquest to fighters. While your fate was doomed from the outset, I was never here to fuck spiders. It's pathetic like a child's cry.
You are the first ever wise to live in stable plight.
Bones inside lost the night sky.
Or won't you become blind from his life with no light in your sight? Don't you see no reason why you have been dumped? It's nobody's fault that you can stand your ground. If your virtue forces you to walk the line, take your hand in silence and don't waste
My direction when chaos starts to spawn. I'll smack whilst I push who is ready to fall. I'll pull rifle that's meant to stand down. I'll witness the end of your days without regret. Listen, kids. It has come to be yours to tell if you haven't realized it. I don't give a flying fuck.
Ja, vi gehen kurz.
Giving is well, but I'm sick of the price. It's been a burden to give you advice. So let me say it with none of my grace. This is the last time I'll talk to you.
Don't you see no reason why you have been dumped? It's nobody's fault that you can stand your ground. If your virtue forces you to walk the line, take your hand in silence and don't waste
So stop the fucking sword.
Alrighty, everybody. Welcome to the Cosmic Podcast, episode number 5, with Mr. Seth Angerer.
Oh,
How
that
are
was
we all?
Very,
Oh
very
my God.
Japanese. How you said that?
Very what?
Tu Angere.
Why? What can I say?
Nice.
How are we today?
Yeah, I'm feeling all right, actually. How
Excellent.
about you guys?
Great.
I'm great as well. If you are wondering, because I saw some people in the chat over here, what song was that? The song is Mr. Seth Angerer. The song is called "Not Here to Fuck Spiders." Hopefully, I don't get demonetized, but it's okay. I don't care too much. It's not like I make money anyway. It's just for fun. Anyway,
It's over.
It's over
You're
now.
cancelled.
yeah, I'm canceled. Bye. All right, so today we're gonna be talking with Seth. You know, we're gonna talk about his music, and I'm sure we'll end up somewhere obscure and fun and whatnot.
Yeah, and rambling
Definitely.
about Star Wars.
Oh, we're gonna do the Star Wars talk.
Star Wars podcast,
You,
anyone?
you
Yeah.
should probably
Yeah.
look for someone who's more competent on that field. So.
No worries. Still love you. Anyway,
Okay, I'm leaving.
logging off. All right, so let's get into it. Mr. Seth Angerer, I would like to title you as fan of metal, fan of Lovecraft, pizza, and spiders. Is that correct?
That's absolutely correct, my guy.
All right. So let's dive into it. You've got a lot of music. I would say we've got what? I'm gonna look through your catalog here. We've got one album. What would you say? One EP and a whole bunch of singles. Actually, you have 2 EPs, right?
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
so.
We've got Fertility. I'm gonna be really bad at talking here. Fertility here. We got Life of Worthless Good. All that other stuff. Anyway, you have a very good command of orchestration.
Thanks, sir.
How did you learn to do it?
Well, if you're referring to any classical education, I have none, actually.
That's number
But-
2. Wow. It's amazing.
Wow. Do we have a wow counter?
Yeah, right. Hit the wows
No,
in chat.
Actually, I just, started working on. Actually, the first thing I ever recorded was myself sitting in a room with my guitar amp and my phone on the other half of the room and just screaming and shredding. I mean, shredding is now a kind of loaded term, but I was just mindlessly playing evil chords because it was all metal and true back
Right.
then.
Very, very
And-
true.
Nice.
And actually, I got into the whole symphonic thing over kind of gateways like pagan metal and medieval metal, so
Sure.
which had some elements and some interesting, instruments that weren't the classical, metal setup.
Understood.
Would you care
no,
to
really.
to tell us some bands
Yeah.
which were like important in that?
Yeah, I think the first band that I listened to, even when it was I was in the full-on metal phase, like death metal, and it had to be brutal and true and
True.
evil. It's true cult.
Dear God.
Saltatio Mortis, they're actually a German medieval band, and I've seen them live, I guess 2 years ago. The first time and the only time, but which was really weird because it took me back to the age of 14, and
Nice.
it's a really weird experience. But that was the first really, really melodic band in that sense. I really didn't like all the melodic metal core bands back then, but I liked the enhancements by when people used other, especially very exotic, esoteric, if you will,
Sure.
instruments.
Yeah, esoteric instruments, you have a lot of unique instruments that you use, and that's generally why I asked that question, because I think they're done really well. For example, what is it pronounced? Shinka? Is that correct?
Shinka, yeah, I think so. I mean, I'm not a Japanese person. I really used Google Translate.
Right. So that kind of leads me, because that EP felt very Asian influenced. And I'm super Japan all the way. Anyway, what was the inspiration behind that? Because it is quite unique in my opinion. Something I like a lot.
It was my first symphony, right? And the thought of making it was like, well, what should I do next? Should I write a symphony? Well, why not? Was like,
Nice.
who's writing symphonies nowadays? I mean, probably some people are doing it. I'm
Mhm.
pretty sure. But I just wanted to do it the non-conventional way, and really, it was the thrill of combining my love for progressive metal and with my love for soundtracks, which has been alive for most
Hell
of
yeah.
my life, really.
Nice. Awesome. Understood. You know, it's.
Yeah.
I think it's unique, and you know, you definitely command it well. You were able to do it super well, especially with. I'm gonna butcher these names. I'm so sorry. But the three singles you did. It starts with the U. I can't pronounce it. I'm so sorry. Oh man. Etronenigen. Right?
Utrotningen, I guess. It's Swedish. I'm not a Swedish person as well, but I think it's pronounced Utrotningen, something like that.
Gotcha. Is there a concept behind those three singles?
Yeah, that's, these three singles are actually my second symphony, which was somewhat meant as a follow-up to Shinka, because Shinka stands for evolution, quite literally.
Okay,
It's
nice.
the Japanese word for evolution.
Awesome.
And Utrotningen means extinction. So you have the, this.
Nice.
Ah,
Nice.
really big brain approach.
Big brain. Ricky
Why-
brain.
And why did you choose like a different language for each?
The simple version is because I grew, I was bored with the English language, even though I try to expand my vocabulary all the time. But I just, to me, languages all feel a certain way, and I used the Japanese language because it had this feeling to me of growth, and so that was really fitting to me to the concept of evolution. And Utrotningen, sorry, Swedish people, but I just, whenever I hear a Scandinavian talk, it's like, well, Vikings, everything's going down.
It sounds more, I don't know, more brutish and vile, and somehow very, very. I have the feeling like a lot of stuff is happening in the throat when you're talking like Swedish.
Yeah. It was actually my approach when writing Shinka, that I had in mind to start really soft and get really loud in the end, which I somewhat managed. I mean, it still had, I think all four movements have their loud parts. And with Utrotningen, I tried to start really loud and aggressive and be more melodic towards the end, or soft, if you will.
Like it all fades out.
Yeah.
Again. Okay.
Yeah, I super dig it. I was listening to it at work. I just wanted to go through everything because I'll be honest, I didn't listen to super duper everything yet. So I listened to everything you got. And I hadn't heard Shinka yet. And I was like, oh, this is so cool because I'm super into Japan and whatnot. So I was like, oh, this is really neat. So yeah, I wanted to ask you, the question about what the inspiration behind Shinka was, and the use of ethnic instruments, and just really good, command of the range of instruments and the sound palette per song. Very skillful.
Thank you.
Anyway, yeah, of course. One other question I had, with your songs, in terms of how you write them, do you have a writing process, or is it just, oh, that sounds neat, just throw it in there?
I do definitely have a writing process, one that I didn't plan on having, and actually right now, as I finish the new album that's coming out in late 2021, I actually want to change the process as it is right now, because I feel the need for something fresh. But usually it's really like I have ideas. Mostly they come up when I fiddle around on my guitar or my keyboard, and I'll save little snippets of recordings to my phone and name them really intuitively
Sure.
how they feel,
Right.
you know, and and maybe someday I'll be like, yeah, let's search through this library and see which of these ideas could fit together. That's one approach. I do have different approaches, I guess, but it's always at first finding the ideas and then arranging it. And I don't have, phases like I compose at first and then I produce it or arrange it. It's all happening at once, really. Once I get the ideas. But another way of getting ideas is the spontaneous, I call them Mozart moments, because I feel like Mozart must have had a lot of these moments and I don't. It happens like twice a year. It happens twice a year that I just strolling down the street and there's a tune in my head and it sounds pretty much exactly like the final thing, but that's a very rare thing for me. So it's a lot of fiddling around, a lot of changing instruments, and something sounds great on piano, maybe it sounds great as well on the guzheng or anything.
Yeah.
So
And that's a good. Yeah. Go ahead.
If I can chime in here, like first, do you have this moments of sudden like inception when you go on the street and then you hear the like the arrangement? What do? Just take out your phone and maybe sing something in so you don't forget it, or you just stop everything and run home and record it, or how do you conserve it in this moment?
Running home isn't always an option if you're far away. So yeah, usually really the first thing I do is, get out my phone and do a very, very bad a cappella rendition of what might become a Seth Angerer symphony.
Yeah.
One day. But it's just phrases. I've never had, a full piece come to mind as I wrote it or anything. It's really a long process. And quite recently, I finished a piece that if I had the time to do like 40-hour weeks of composing, I would have needed like 1 week for this, which is very short amount of time for me. So usually writing a 10-minute piece or anything takes some months. Like I would say if I'm in the process of writing an album, I take 2 or 3 months to write one track, or I mean it's production included because I do it all at once.
So,
and also you're like the only guy who's doing like everything. Yeah. Like
producer,
writing, playing, recording, everything, producing, mix, master also, right?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
Awesome.
The only thing that has changed really is I don't record all that much anymore. So just because, especially guitar-wise, some guy, which is a kind of funny story, a guy hit me up and asked me, well, I was curious because on Kynikos, your guitars sounded a bit more programmed because it was like a hardly playable part. And he also said, well, on the album Away from the Silence, I could tell that these were real guitars. And after that, it switched. And I was like, yeah, but Away from the Silence were also all programmed guitars already. So
wow, really?
I did something right.
Wow.
Except for the clean parts. You can't really program clean parts to sound all that good. So if there's a lot of, you can program basically everything if it's heavily distorted, I think. If you're going for this mechanic gent sound.
Sure. Yeah. I've thought about maybe just as like a sketch, getting like some of those guitar VSTs, and we're gonna talk about VSTs because I know you got some, and we're gonna talk about that because I'm a huge fan of VSTs and stuff like that. I think that would just be in some cases, easier to sketch and write, and then eventually play it on the guitar I got here. But I've thought about that route, so it's cool to hear that you went that route. Now, here's a question. Would you ever play live? Or have you played live?
Well, I have played live, never with this project, but with some underground bands. A few years ago when it was all like death metal. It wasn't only death metal. Actually, the fun thing is, in a certain phase in my life, the only thing that I did musically was gore grind, which is
yeah.
really
Nice.
which was really more of a fun thing.
Sure.
But
I mean, gore grind, you cannot do it for serious reason.
Yeah.
It's so it makes fun of itself. Yeah.
Definitely.
So yeah.
I've
Totally
had
agree.
some live experience. I played at a local Heroes, it was called. It's basically cancelled now. I think it won't happen again anytime soon, I guess. But it was a local band contest, and I played with a project called Seth Angerer. Well, how similar? Because Seth is not my real name. I think that it's not any secret that I keep. So it's fine that we say that here.
Didn't know
back
either.
then,
Didn't know either. I was like, okay, his name is Seth. So yeah,
Got him.
I just take it.
I think I'm losing my my train of thought here.
Oh,
So your first question was, would I ever play this stuff live?
Your current content live.
Yeah. I think I would definitely if it was possible,
Sure.
because I'm really meticulous in the way of I'm a perfectionist when it comes to my work now.
Sure.
And I really love working with all these rather expensive VSTs because they sound so great and they're so tweakable. I can make everything sound just like I want it. And it would be awesome to hear my music live with an orchestra or perform it with an orchestra, but it would need an orchestra for that. And right now I don't see how this could happen in the next 5 years or so.
So
we just need 140
people,
musicians. And I could play bass if you want. I would just do it. Yeah. So
cello or big
count me in.
contrabass.
Can you play contrabass?
No. Bass guitar, like the smaller, not so cool brother.
So you just take the contrabass, you put it on side, and you got a bass. It's cool rock reference.
Yeah, no, it's not.
Put in some neural DSP plugins and you're good to go.
Oh yeah, bro! Like, neural DSP. Neural DSP is the champs when it comes to guitar and bass stuff. Don't at me.
I'm not using it, but it's cool.
Oh, you don't? Well, I guess with your if you have a guitar plugin, do you just use the distortion from that plugin? You don't do a clean signal into an amp? Oh, okay, gotcha. That's fine.
I use the DI signals from this. I'm using what's it called? Not Valhalla. Something like Solemn Tones. They make.
Is it the Hellraiser one?
No, I don't think.
Solomon Tones. They make a bass, right?
Yeah, they made a bass,
yeah.
but also, I have the low-key bass as well. I'm not using it on my productions, but I have it.
Yeah.
But no, it's Odin guitar. I'm
That's
using
right.
the Odin guitar. And at first I've used Bias for quite some time.
Oh man, so did I.
Yeah.
Oh man.
At first,
they fell off so they just hit up once Neural DSP came, and it was just so instantaneous.
But the fun part of all this, I'm using a $5 VST for my guitar tones.
Nice.
What is it?
It's called Grind Machine 2. I don't even know with the company, but Jorg knows it.
Oh my god, that's amazing.
Heavily processed.
Sure.
I'll admit that, but
I'm sure.
You don't say.
You don't say.
But it sounds great,
Yeah.
And yeah.
I've pretty much gone I'm using Neural DSP for everything. I think I have everything except the dark glass, but I don't have a bass anymore because I sold my bass and I bought the Submission bass, the their Dingwall and their Spectre bass kind of plugin, whatever. And I just
Program it.
yeah, I've just programmed it.
Just program it.
Yeah, just program it in now.
Mm.
So that's what I'm using now. But Neural DSP, they're top. Period. No, don't at me. Not Kemper, not Axe. I'm sorry. It's especially with the quad cortex. I want that so bad. You gonna get it? Anyone gonna get it?
Yeah. I think the first
What?
Neural DSP stuff I would get is actually the Corey Wong stuff because I am
clean.
really a fan of his tones.
Waka, 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 waka. Yeah. That's
Looking forward to do some more funk parts. I love funk.
Oh
parts.
yeah, totally. Yeah, you've done that a bit. That would be fun to do. Yeah, they got the little what is it? The whammy pedal, or the little what would you call it? Whatever. You know what? You whack whack whack. You know, the whole chicken picking and whatnot.
Yeah.
So yeah, let's move on to. I guess we're in this realm now. Let's move on to VST stuff. What are you using? What's your go-to like string, brass? What are you using for your ethnic stuff? Let's get into that.
It's easier to answer this question now because right now I've been switching to Spitfire plugins.
Really? Okay.
A lot.
Okay.
But that was recently, and I think what I've been putting out, or all the singles that I've put out already, or all the songs are really using a lot of different stuff, and it's really a tough job to make it all sound cohesive.
Sure.
But I think my go-to strings have been the what's it called? I'm just using the plugins. I never look at the names. But it's Cinematic Studio strings. It's I think
that's a great one.
I totally love their legatos because it sounds so much like something, what Thomas Newman would use, or I'm one of my favorite composers, and I really heard that string sound in there. So that was my favorite for a long time. But I recently got BBC Symphony Orchestra by Spitfire Audio,
Yes.
the core version, not the professional version, for some reasons. Mainly because it doesn't have 15 mic positions.
Right,
and
right,
I
right.
don't need 15 mic positions if it's
You need the
gonna
bottle
use
mic,
900 gigabytes. I have other stuff to use.
My favorite was on the Hans Zimmer strings where they included the bottle mic.
Yeah.
Did you see that? It's literally a mic in a bottle. It's like, who needs this? What
Why?
is this? Yeah, why?
I mean, you always have to think like the average music listener listens through like shitty AirPods, but only with one side in, maybe.
Yeah, one side in, yeah.
Scrolling through Facebook. Yeah. So mic positions, yes, no. Will they get it? Probably not. Yeah. But you still need it, man.
I mean,
I think if the producer, in my opinion, I totally care about that stuff where it's like, okay, if I'm putting this together, I want all the mics to be in the right position, and I'm gonna make it sound as best as I can. And you know what? I don't really care if if the listener doesn't notice. I notice. It's stuff like that. So I get that. What were you gonna say before I cut you off? I apologize.
What? Who? I was finished.
No, Seth started talking, and I started babbling.
Yeah. Another thing that I've used quite a bit for brass, mainly because the brass in this library is very, very loud, was Metropolis Arc 1.
Yeah.
That's a loud library, and I really love the sound, and it's the only one that really managed to cut through, this wall of heavily distorted guitars and drums playing. So obviously that with some portion of distortion. That rhymed.
Right.
And right now, I'm not actually working with templates in my DAW, but I try to have some go-to libraries to make my life a bit easier. And from now on, I'll be using the BBC Symphony Orchestra just because it has everything in it, and it sounds so incredibly cohesive, as they said in the trailer stuff and,
Right.
and
The
all
room
their
is
promotion.
nice. The room is
Yeah.
really nice. The room sounds really good.
I
it's a-
love the scoring stage sound because
Yeah.
if you're making really complicated music, you want a not too ambient sound because it will all go, crazy.
Sure. It's surprising you don't do a template. My templates kind of every time I write something, it changes and it improves every time I write something. So, but hey, if you be like, oh, yep, and then EQ it correctly and do it all as fast as you can, that's that's impressive. But no, it's interesting that you do it on the spot. I guess that's cooler in a way. Sorry, just pondering that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I have all the arcs, arc 1, 2, 3, and 4, and they're great. They're
Yep.
great. Hell yeah, especially 3 if you want to have some horror bits. Oh, they got the fast runs and the and all that kind of fun stuff.
For my future music, I'm actually trying to focus, or not focus, but really indulge in softer sounds. And I got, the first Spitfire plugin that I got was Orchestral Swarm, which sounds so incredibly great because it's that these long notes consisting of short notes, so you really get a lot of movement. So it's not the Jörg is probably like, what
are you talking about?
just use a long thing. I mean, we're in the realm of things that probably really only I notice. So
Sure.
I think 50% of me working of the time of me working on a piece is really like changes that only I hear. So
yeah, but as Mike said, you do music because of you and yourself. Yeah,
definitely. Yeah.
And as long as it manifests what you want to tell or show, and for you it's important, then it's valid. Yeah. If anyone else catches it up or not, it doesn't matter.
And
it doesn't matter.
There's always going to be people who do, and then it's absolutely worth the effort because someone is going to listen to on the really expensive whatever headphones
also the next thing is it's really hard to like make a comparison because there's only like one symphony that you put out in a certain way, and not like, okay, this is the symphony with this mic positions and this equalization and blah blah, and now I just release the same thing but processed differently, so you can like have this A/B comparison. You don't do that, so it's very, very hard to get these nuances, right? So you can't just compare it with past releases or releases from other bands and projects that are like a similar genre, which there are not, because
that's nice.
I cannot think of so many a modern progressive metal projects or bands that are using such a variety of different instruments and styles. Mostly things are like neoclassical, like with a classical orchestra, and you come over with all your Oriental and Asian and fantasy stuff, which kind of makes you unique. So it's hard to draw a comparison there again. So people, it's I mean I think people want to know this, but they cannot really, because they don't have a comparison. So closing the circle here. Thank you for listening.
Right. Speaking of all like the Eastern instruments and whatnot, and you mentioned Metropolis Arc, have you seen the Phoenix Orchestra that Orchestral Tools has? It's a Chinese, literally think Metropolis Arc, but it's all Chinese instruments.
No, I've recently seen someone reviewing Strezzo.
Yes, they came out with one too.
Yeah, do you have a comparison? Because I don't own either of them.
So I'll put it to you this way.
Yeah.
I downloaded Strezov's like download thing, like their manager thing, and my antivirus said, "Oh, this will have this has malicious malware on it." Okay, delete. So oh god, I started the music. Sorry. Sorry, chat. And I have a lot of Orchestral Tools instruments already, so personally I would probably just go that route. Not to discredit Strezov, but don't put malware in your on your download manager thing. But that was a little bit ago. They did something for free, and I was like, "Oh, I'll try it," and then I couldn't even download it. So I mean, sorry, Strezov. I want to like you, but don't do that.
Give me reasons.
Yeah, it's like, please. So I think Orchestral Tools had a little bit more variety, if I'm not mistaken. I watch a composer on Twitch who I've followed for years. His name's Daniel James, and he did a shootout. Well, not a shootout, but he does like walkthroughs of each library. You know, some of the newer ones that come out. And I loved his one for the Phoenix Orchestra, and I think he did one for the Strezov, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay.
Yeah, but I prefer Orchestral Tools kind of just all around. I think there's a really good class to their libraries. So
I'll take a look at Phoenix because I'm not planning would be an overstatement, but I have the idea of someday I could, just do rework of Shinka,
sure.
for example, which I can say because it's, very far out in the future because I have so much plans for things that I want to do now. So it's going to be like forever, but if it works, then
hell yeah,
we'll see.
Nice.
Imagine in like 10 years, a super fan comes over and said, "Hey, where's the rework?"
Yeah, right.
He said in that obscure podcast 10 years ago, "I'm still waiting. Bring it."
That would be nice.
Now I gotta do it.
All right, so I got another question for you. This one's a little more, I guess, all around. It doesn't necessarily have to be pertain to music. But what was the best advice you've ever gotten?
It's really funny to hear that because for the longest time I've been trying out stuff and really it was all the trial and error approach. I think I could have learned all of the things that I am doing right now so much faster if I cared about tutorials or anything like that. So for the longest time I haven't been paying attention to other people's content really. But I'll think of some personal advice probably. Quite recently my best friend told me, you know what, because I'm always really perfectionistic with my work, and it was very nice to hear him say, you know what, it was the kind of thing that I struggled with a mix or something like that. And I was like, well, should I do a rework of this? But it would be so much work to invest because it was a kind of complicated thing. And he told me, the best thing you can do is just put it out and take and learn from what you're doing now and adapt it in the future.
Sure.
Do it next time.
So
Sure. Absolutely.
I mean, my project overall, if I look at my catalog and how especially the production and the arrangements improved, it's really about improvement and evolution. So
Absolutely.
in a way, it would be nice to have had the abilities that I have now back when I released, Life is a Worthless Guild, because everything would sound, absolutely polished.
Yeah, but that's like hindsight 2020.
Yeah.
If I knew the things back then, blah blah blah, would
Yeah.
be better. Yeah,
And
of
I
course it
actually
would be. Yeah,
I appreciate that I'm managing to sound up for my ears better with every release in some regard.
that is great.
And if
Absolutely.
if I don't find a way to improve my production right now, I'll work on my arrangement. And the single that I finished quite recently, fun fact, it's actually to be released in March of 2022. So,
Yes.
I'm a complete insane guy. It really sounds so much better already. Or, again, it's always, being that arrogant dude saying, I want to take it up a notch every time.
Sure.
So it's not,
Understood. I mean, yeah, that's a really good philosophy to have. I've kind of,
Great advice. Yeah,
it's great advice. Absolutely. I think anybody should take that on.
because
Whatever you're working on, improve.
I think if you always rework your I don't know, your current stuff, then you hinder yourself to progress. I mean you progress in a certain way, but only in like tiny bits. Yeah, because every time when you release music, not finish it, because as we know, music is never finished. Every time when you release it, you you like finish a part of your life, and then you can move on, and then you can make this like a clean slate and this palette cleanser. Yeah, so like, okay, that's behind me now. I learned this and this and this because they're the response of my following and bubble and fans and whatever you might call this group was this and this and this. I think points like this and that are valid, and those ones are not. Yeah, and this feedback I will take for my future compositions.
Yeah,
and I think that's the least frustrating way to grow as an artist. I think. But and it takes some time and some years for this mindset to come in. Some earlier, some later. For me, very late. So yeah.
yeah.
Same.
But the advice of your buddy, great thing.
Absolutely.
Shout out.
Shout
One
out
more
to the
thing.
bud.
I have one more thing to add, because I think the best advice right now that I could give to someone who's doing somewhat similar that I'm doing is only work at one project at a time. It will really improve your productivity, and also it will be so much less frustrating because you will get so much more things done. And I think getting things done,
Very
that's
satisfying.
Yeah.
That's really the way to move on.
With project, you mean song or band, or like what?
I mean, I only work at one piece at a time now, really.
Okay, yeah.
I don't do more pieces at a time because I really like to have that linear kind of progression. So it's like the only way to flee is like onward.
Forward.
Forward.
Yeah, but I've been that's the album thing. For some time I've been writing albums, and I've waited with releasing them, and I just released an album without telling any you guys.
Whoopsie doodle.
Whoopsie doodles.
Problems.
A little bit of a lag there.
Can you just repeat the
Yeah.
last two sentences?
I'll do my best.
Right. Rewind.
No, what did I just say?
We were
That's my
talking
problem.
about-
That's really a problem.
Oh, no, you're too loud.
Project, linear,
Yeah.
like
Hang on, your
And-
camera's being all funky, so I'm fixing you here.
Like mine is.
Yeah, remember what yours did like the last time?
No.
Oh, okay. Seth was
Dirk
taking up like
doesn't
half
pay
the
attention
screen.
to himself.
Yeah.
Who am
What?
I?
No. Because I'm so focused on the topic and you guys that I don't notice all the fuck ups that are happening here. Like my dark
have
room
noticed
and
that
why
you're
are
in
there
space right now.
stars and shit. I mean it's called the Cosmic Podcast, right? And I'm the only guy with Cosmos here, yeah. So
Soon,
yeah,
I'm gonna buy something. I'm gonna
soon.
buy
Yeah,
something
we're
soon.
doing like episode 5.
Oh my
and
god!
it's still bright as
I'm a poor American.
Okay.
Mhm.
Concepts. Yeah.
Yeah.
So you write music first, and then you say like, this feels like I don't know, like evolution and Eastern stuff, or how do you
Yeah.
concept?
Concept is a big one for me because it's really, sometimes I'll think of really concepts and sometimes it's more of a premise. It could be a musical idea, really. Also, it doesn't always have to be some kind of weird sci-fi stuff or fantasy.
Sure.
But yeah, I pretty much always have the concept for a piece before writing the piece because it just helps me a lot.
Yeah.
And
It gives you a vector to
Yeah.
move, and
Definitely.
you narrow
Yeah.
your possibilities down.
I try to sketch out then if I have some musical ideas that fit to a certain concept, I'll try to sketch in Samsung Notes how the piece could actually go. And, sometimes it turns out just like that. And sometimes, things happen that I can't really tell beforehand. But yeah, concepts are very important to me as a writing kind of motivation also. And yeah, I mean, probably you guys noticed that some of my concepts are actually, apart from the Lovecraft one, I get quite some ideas from game franchises or something like that. So the
Sure.
first single was the Warhammer 40K thing. I've never played Warhammer in my life, but I just saw the trailer and it was so epic.
Yeah.
And usually it doesn't even need me playing a game because I'm not a gamer. I like to watch Let's Plays on YouTube. But so I know some things and I know probably what new games come out, but I don't actually play them myself.
It's cheaper that way.
Yeah. So usually it just needs a spark and maybe I'll find an interesting universe and then I can add my own stuff. And that's what I really loved I loved about the Lovecraft universe because it wasn't just Lovecraft creating this universe.
Yeah.
Because it was writers after him, and right now if someone is doing a fan art or an artwork and says, "Oh, that's my entity, I call it," then it's
name.
it's somewhat valid, It's world building, and that's why I love, for example, Lord of the Rings, because it really transcended the movies. I've watched. I don't remember what that YouTuber is called, but he did some not breakdowns, but things. He shares his thoughts about some movies, and Lord of the Rings was one of them. And it was really he introduced me to the concept of world building, and I found that this is really what fascinates me. So really, I try to find universes where I then can fit a piece into. Always.
Always.
Cool.
Yeah.
So you don't come up with a concept from scratch. You're more like, okay, this is an interesting thing, like this Warhammer thing, yeah. And you're like, okay, I'm gonna add this small piece, this story. I mean, yeah, the the 40K lore is so huge and vast, and it plays over obviously 40,000 years in a whole galaxy, which is like a lot of time and a lot of space. Yeah, so there is a lot of space for anyone to add really epic, huge stories from the point of one individual, but seen through the cosmic eye of a bigger entity. It was like, yeah, okay, there was a blip, so it's gone again. Yeah. So this is actually a nice feeling. Also, when people catch up on that and reference your addition to the universe and latch onto it and maybe add on top of your stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
And this is great in I think in well-known universes and franchises, like let's say Star Wars or Star Trek or Lord of the Rings for our sword and elf guys. But also like more like niche stuff. And I always for me, even though 40K is like this huge thing with this black library, and there are millions of books, not like a lot of books, and it always felt like really niche. Also, Lovecraft was like very, I don't know, very undergroundish somehow.
What? One thing that really impressed me about this Lovecraft fan base, really, when I got into it and when I, checked out what was going on in online forums or something, it's really active.
Yeah, it is
really damn active.
I mean, when you just think about that, there's this pen and paper horror role play game. Like you people know this maybe. There's a Call of Cthulhu. It's basically it's a very simple pen and paper role playing game where it's not about like maxing out the character. It's like really story based and horror based. It's really about this. Yeah, you're just a normal fart of a person in 1920, and you somehow trip into this insanity that is Call of Cthulhu and all those entities and zombies and stuff that comes with it. Yeah, I mean, it's seldomly zombies. It's mostly like fish people. As
really
saying the memes. Yeah. It's not only. And with that, people share their adventures and their story and their take on it, right? How and when did you trip over Lovecraft? Like what was your entry into this
what
thing?
was my entry? That's harder to answer because sometimes it's just one day of seeing something and getting sucked really into a concept. I can remember it actually better with my first single, Life is Worthless Good, where just a friend of mine, he showed me a trailer for Warhammer 40K and it was so epic. I was like, yeah, I need to write something about this. And with Lovecraft, since it was a kind of recent discovery for me, actually, I don't remember it that well. What kind of sparked this thing? I mean, obviously, I've known about Cthulhu for years because you cannot not know about Cthulhu. And also, I realized, there are some Lovecraftian metal bands out there, and I realized that, some things that I've been listening to, I guess, I afterwards realized, oh, that's some Lovecraft references. I never got that because, right now I'm discovering all this stuff.
Sure.
So, for example, in my death metal phases, I listened to a lot of Nile, and they'll have some little sprinkets of
Egyptian. Egyptian
Yeah.
Yeah, which is
Stuff's
funny
cool.
because I always thought like this the roots of this Lovecraftian universe is it's more like Sumerian mythology somehow, which is like next door to Egypt.
Yeah. Sure.
Well,
Right.
a comment that I found very interesting is on the Blind Idiot God, the single that I did. Someone commented, I mean, it was the only, comment. It wasn't really a negative one. He just said, for me, Lovecraft is more of an ambient kind of feel, and I don't really feel why he doesn't really feel it as a metal thing. So what I thought is, well, there's probably 84 hours of Lovecraft ambient mixes on YouTube. You can listen to that.
Spotify playlists.
I think that's the beauty of it as well. You can, show this concept to someone who's doing classical music or neoclassical music, if you will, and he'll do something completely different. And that's really the beauty of the concept and how it can inspire different things.
True story. Cool.
Yeah.
There's one thing I would say that all my concepts have in common, and that's they have to be huge. It has to have a huge kind of feel, something, it doesn't have to be otherworldly, but as with Shinka, it's about the concept of evolution. I mean, how can something be more huge than that, really?
Right.
There's one thing that I've written, or, it's the album Away from the Silence, which had some elements that were kind of introspective, but I really realized that afterwards that wasn't my plan while I wrote this. But I felt like afterwards, when I wrote this, I probably had to to share some things in a very cryptic way and some weird lyrics.
Even if they're cryptic and introspective lyrics, it might not ultimately be the route you go with your lyrical philosophy with your music and whatnot, but it can be very therapeutic, and it can also add a different perspective, let's say, to the concept, so it's not necessarily a bad thing.
Yeah.
Also, I really love it when people read lyrics and interpret them, but in a totally different way that you intended them to come over, and they come out with their own like concepts and stories then, and like, yeah, but that wasn't the thing I wanted to say. So I mostly think is when this happens, is this like a bad thing? Because this means that you were not like exact and clear enough.
Sure.
Because if you were, then the other person would come over and say like, yeah, the concept was this, right? And it would be this. Yeah. So I don't know. I sometimes I think, yeah, if that happens, it is a bad thing because I was not clear enough. But on the other hand, I sparked something in the other person, and this person was coming up with their own take and version and view of this specific song and track and lyrics. Yeah. And then we had this exchange between two minds, and we progressed further together. Yeah. Even though through my fault of not being clear enough. So is it still like, I don't know, how do you guys feel about this? Does this make sense at first?
Yeah, I totally understand.
Just said?
Yeah, I totally understand what you're saying.
Thank you.
I think it's a tough one because it's like, yeah, you wrote lyrics and they didn't necessarily come off exactly how you wanted them to, But if the person, the listener, finds different meaning in that, and they play the song 400 times, it's like, okay, A, revenue, and B, this helps them, mentally and whatnot.
Thank you for putting my child through school.
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
So I think,
that's right.
it's not necessarily a bad thing. I think it can help people perceive things, and not necessarily talking about like my situation or anything like that. But I think it's helpful. I think it's helpful for people, and it's not necessarily a bad thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Seth, you're up. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, sure.
I
No
mean,
pressure.
no pressure. Yeah, I mean, I would say it's always nice when something else, when another person comes up with their version of something. But yeah, I would find it funny if someone was coming to me with, oh, I've read these lyrics and I really felt the heartbreak or something that you must have gone through. And I was like, and I would be like,
No heartbreak there.
no, I'm rarely emotional when writing music, actually. It's a very, meticulous process of just sitting down, and most of the time it's not even fun. Really.
I mean, I get that, man. I get it.
It's just the kind of, it's rewarding, I would say, in the end, but it's so many times, most of my sessions, it's just, come on, sit down, do this. Some things might happen even if I'm totally not motivated that day. But that being said, to get back to your question, I wouldn't, I wouldn't have the thought of, that when someone interprets my lyrics differently, that I would have been not clear enough. So yeah, I mean, I would just say, that's maybe your version, but I would still say that mine is right because I wrote it.
Yeah.
That would be my way of seeing it. So you can interpret whatever you want, but that's what I thought when writing these lyrics is probably gonna be the right version of it. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there wasn't really like the point who is right, because I mostly think like when I write and release music, because with lyrics that was kind of a lie, because I don't write lyrics. I only write concepts for lyrics, and mostly the other guys in my band, they're coming up with lyrics. I mostly think like I wanna tell a story and tell a message, and I want the message to be understood. Yeah, but I also want it to be like artistic. So
Sure.
there are metaphors and not just like this blatant story, like, oh, this is what it's about, the solution is in the lyric, just read it here. Yeah. So this takes away this abstract stuff, takes away from I'm losing the word here, from the clarity of it. Like,
Sure.
yeah. So it's harder for the other one to understand what I wanted to say. Yeah. And I kind of lost the point here. So yeah. So the goal was understand this, and then the other guy comes up and says, "Yeah, but I understood it like in this way." So
It's all about perspective.
Did I do a poor job with what I wanted to do?
Probably. I think that's up to you, but
Yeah.
what I just thought is, a huge part. This is a huge part of the decision every time because I do a lot of instrumental stuff that's purely instrumental, and I do have some songs that have lyrics and vocals in them.
Yeah.
And ultimately, that's really the reason. When I add vocals, it's really to give the person, the audience, another way of getting the concept. It's when I add vocals, is actually the reason behind that is when I think that the music itself couldn't really tell the story on its own, so it needs some words.
Yeah,
Sure.
because as far as I know, every time when you release music, you always make like this kind of visualizer where you have this prologue text going on there where you explain very clearly what the concept is about. Yeah. But you're not telling like everything. You're like, okay, this is the framework and the story is in the song. Yeah. And how the song feels and progresses, and also when there are vocals, the lyrics, they just add to it, as you said. And with the framework and the input, the listener has to figure out what's going on. Yeah. How's this going? Yeah. So with my recent project, it's not exactly like that, but it's not only just music. Yeah, it's also like a lot of texts. We have this book. We have music videos, and of course, like music and lyrics, and those different types of content, like puzzle together what it's about. Yeah, of course. So I mean, yeah, I was just talking about lyrics, but what I meant was like when someone gets this whole package of content and this whole package of art, do they understand what it's about? And if they are not, yeah, then I did a poor job, yeah, with telling the story. Even though the other person is entertained and gets his own spin on things, yeah, I mostly feel like, okay, I maybe should be a bit more straight on with what I wanted to say. Yeah.
Can I add a very funny thing?
No.
All right.
No.
It's all strict.
Go.
from now.
Yes.
This is a German stream now.
No.
I've been overtaken.
Tell me.
It was with a project I had before, Seth Angerer. It was called Salzar, which was actually somewhat similar. And some of the songs that I released under the name Salzar were just reworked with Seth Angerer and released under this project. And there was one song which is now called As the Owls Take Flight, from Futility, the EP. And back in the day, it was called New Heavy Bombardment. And it was so funny to read the comments because I did a lyric video for this. And it was, all the directions, but also in terms of some people said, whoa, these are the deepest lyrics I've ever heard. And some other guy was like, these lyrics read like they were written by a 12-year-old.
Right, yeah.
It's like,
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, I think they are what they are.
Right.
But yeah,
There's just those two extremes of people where it's like,
absolutely.
this is great, or wow, the 4-year-old write this? Is this the Phantom Menace? No, I'm just kidding.
I don't know.
We are not getting over Star Wars today.
I don't know if you've followed the recent Steven Wilson stuff.
No,
I haven't listened to the album yet, but I've actively, I've been following his social media for quite a while now. And sometimes when I feel like I have too little problems in my life, I just read those comments because it's so ridiculous. Because one thing I really don't like, and why I even thought sometimes on some days I even think I should probably stop labeling myself progressive composer, because the term progressive is so loaded and so linked to a kind of substrate of people
Okay.
some people, obviously the
Some people. Yeah,
minority. I really hate purists. I'm sorry, purists.
Yeah, but
Sure.
but
Pu-
but no
purists.
matter with
Yeah.
what label you come up, those
Yeah.
those purist guys, they always find shit
Something
to
wrong, yeah. I mean,
heckle on. Fuck
I
that.
thought of labeling it a polygenre because it was something two guys from Germany came up with who are called Future. Their music is vastly different from mine, but that wouldn't be an issue because really
Okay.
I want to make music, and you want to have a label because you want to lead some people some sort of direction.
Yeah.
And it's usually like, okay, if people like progressive metal, they like my music. That's usually
Yeah.
the approach that you
I'm al-
go with.
Yeah.
I don't get like too much dragged into this label thing. Yeah, and even though when there's, I don't know, like a tech death band and they are not as techy as some other current tech death band, I'm not like, yeah, but you're just death metal. Yeah. I would
Right.
never say that.
Right,
yeah.
right.
For me, it's a very important communication tool, and it's not like because some people in metal or in this high energy music that is metal, hardcore, gent, whatever you want to name it, say like, yeah, there's this bazillion subgenres in metal music, and it's in other genres it's not. That is wrong. Yeah, I mean, if you hop over to the electronic and techno people,
Sure.
they have the same obscure stuff but in a different language, if you want to say that. Yeah?
Trap, deep
and
house,
and
whatnot.
and every I don't know if you want to call it post tech death metal, blah blah blah, whatever. Yeah, it helps to communicate in which direction roughly this band wants to head. Yeah, what their intentions are, what their like their musical elements and approaches are. Yeah, and I think this is a really important communication tool. Yeah, because mostly, I don't know, if you meet another person and you're like, hey, have you listened to like Seth Angerer? And he's like, no, what's that about? And then you say, yeah, it's like progressive orchestral
Flexitarian.
metal. Yeah. Then the other guy, and then you add some bands like yeah, and it's for fans of ABC. Yeah. The other person knows roughly where this is going and can decide if it's of interest or not. Yeah.
Sure.
So I mean of course I make jokes about some obscure subgenres. Yeah, because why the fuck not? It doesn't matter.
Right.
But yeah, as I said, I like it, and when you come up with your own genre, then please, yeah. But it's hard to use it for communication purposes.
Yeah.
Yeah, or yeah, I don't know. So progressive, I don't know, is always for me like a golden ticket, where you can say, okay, my genre is fuck it, I do whatever I want.
Yeah, that was my main intention.
And you
by
can just
calling it progressive.
strap in, baby, and join for a wild ride. Yeah. So
Right.
you can also call it, I don't know, surprise metal, because you never know what's going to happen next.
We're gonna have some up tempo here.
Circus music.
Yeah, right? Yeah, circus music,
Will it be
right.
circus music? Suddenly blast beats.
yeah,
and,
right?
Yeah. Yeah, and this is I think this is the wonderful thing with with progressive music. Yeah, with the term progressive metal. Yeah,
Yeah.
because there will be violent music, but in a very weird way, in a very surprising way. Yeah.
Bum, 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 bum. It's like a
Yeah,
harpsichord.
Yeah.
I'm
Or
thinking
what's it
of
called?
Igor.
Yeah. Right.
I love very noise.
Varying noise is
It's
great.
it's so weird, but
The video,
that's what we love about it.
video is fucking awesome.
Yeah.
I've seen him live once, and yeah,
How is that?
wild, very
Uh.
very wild, violent, surprising. Yeah, it's pff, how do you call it in English?
Chaotic?
Ausdruckstanz. Helping
Chaotic?
out there, Seth.
Expressive dance?
Yeah.
Expressive
it's
dance?
like the expressive dance, but in a metal frame.
Oh wow.
So you mean crowd killing?
It's
No, just kidding. Don't
it's
crowd kill.
very yeah. It's very
No, it's
progressive,
like
very artistic and very out there.
Mhm.
Yeah. So you have to be like, don't try to understand it. Yeah. Just embrace the chaos. Yeah.
Mhm.
And analyze it like very late on. Yeah. Don't analyze it on the spot when something new of Igor comes out. Yeah. Just embrace that you don't have control, and you get this wave of input and just
going
get crushed
mad.
by it. Yeah. And also don't drink or smoke weed while listening to Igor. It's just due to
Yikes.
too nasty. No, it's
Too
great.
nasty.
Great.
Gotcha.
A similar thing. I always forget that they are here. But do you know Clowncore?
Yeah.
Do you know
Oh no.
those two guys in this porta potty, and they have different videos in a car? This is like right up the alley of Igor. I
Yeah.
think.
But I've-
They're so skilled musicians, but they're so beyond music.
Mm.
Yeah.
I think
I've been listening.
Sorry. I think
Sorry.
I know what you're referring to because I remember seeing a really weird video with two people in a car.
Yeah.
But I'm not familiar
Wearing
if that was.
clown masks.
Yeah, I think I know what you're talking about. That was a
Yes.
weird video.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's what they want. Yeah?
Right.
They just confront you with
Right.
with this real
Weirdness.
weird reality thing, like two guys in clown masks making music while driving.
Right.
No. And it's I don't know. You just see it and you are like, that was so weird. And then you watch it again.
And then you watch it again.
because yeah. And sometimes stuff like this comes up, and I always celebrate it, because I always think like I did not really understand what they want from me, and I'm just confused. But it makes me happy that there are people out there breaking conventions and saying fuck you to everyone, and they're like, we're doing our thing in the most extreme way, and if you do not like it, then this is not for you.
Sure.
Yeah. And if you do like it, then here's your clown mask,
Right.
and
See you in the
aboard
pit.
this car. Yeah, and just do it. And what they do is, for a small amount of time, they create this small community and entity, which becomes like its own thing with their own language and memes and group of people. They are automatically kind of like-minded. Yeah.
Mhm.
Because every type of music and band comes with a certain mindset and collects like-minded people. And this is very satisfying because this is a room that you can enter and you can automatically start to talk and get an understanding with complete strangers. Where else can you do such things if not in art? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Because you automatically have a starting point, yeah, which is the hardest thing to do for many people, to like start a meaningful conversation and not talk about weather or sports or politics or today COVID. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Sorry, I went on a tangent there,
No
but
worries.
this is why I like confusing art.
Me too.
Or not like confusing, but stuff that you have to sit down and concentrate and read a bunch of shit, yeah,
Yeah.
and talk to other people and be like, hey, have you seen this? I don't understand it. What is your take, and where can I get a different set of information to this to understand it better? Yeah. And then you slowly, like in quicksand, yeah, you just sink into
Right,
it
right.
and get deeper and deeper, and with it a bunch of other people you just meet. Yeah. And yeah, and also this is why I love this progressive metal thing, because it's automatically a communication platform.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For like-minded people that are really patient. Yeah, because progressive music often does
Yeah.
not come easy. Yeah.
Right.
And for people who are willing to put in their time and effort, and that also means time and effort with other people. Yeah. And who like to
Right.
kind of communicate and talk about stuff,
Right.
and um sometimes fight, of course, yeah, because that's what people do, yeah.
Mhm.
But I don't know. I mostly had the feeling when I met people that were in this progressive genre. I could talk a lot and discuss, and even though we were like we had totally different opinions and takes on things, it was like, yeah, okay, the day is over and you go home and I go home, and
Mhm.
we just ramble on the next concert that we meet and say, yeah, Stephen Wilson is boring. Isn't that
Oh,
a
no.
guy who produced Opeth? Yeah. Kind of.
Right.
And yeah, Stephen Wilson is great, but he's too sad for me. I'm more of an Opeth guy. There, I said it.
There, I said it. You're canceled 2021.
Oh
No,
my
just kidding.
god.
Just kidding. No.
My God.
Oh my god. Anyway.
Yeah, or what is your take on the progressive label and talking online about that with people?
Well,
Like,
so I think the progressive is just so broad, because progressive just generally means, hey, we like a bunch of things, but it's gonna be metal. Like, we're gonna go, oh, progressive metal, or oh, progressive rock, that kind of thing. So it's like, progressive just means, oh, I like jazz, oh, you like jazz, I like the blues and all that kind of stuff,
Like jazz.
You'll- but yeah,
that's number one pickup line, right?
you like jazz?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mine at least.
Somewhere, hey, you like it?
Must have a bee costume on. Anyway.
Works never.
Works never. No, don't do it. But yeah, progressive, it just generally means, a culmination of a lot of other genres. Main genre, like progressive metal, progressive rock, whatever.
Yeah.
So I'm not, it is, like Jorg said, it's just generally a term to help people narrow down what your music's going to be for the person who's never listened to your music. So, people are like, oh, genres are stupid. It's like, well, you need to kind of have them so that you can get new audiences and whatnot. You know, I used to be like super like back when iTunes was like a thing. You know, I had all this music, and I would edit it, be like, "This is progressive metalcore," or "This is ambient avant-garde," blah blah blah, whatever, and I would change all that stuff. But now, you know, iTunes died, and I use Tidal and Spotify and whatnot. And as I've gotten older, genres are just, you know, it's like, whatever. Do I like it or not? Is kind of where I'm at now. But that initial, we are, you know, progressive ambient, blah blah blah. It's like, okay, well, I'll give you a listen, and, you know. So it is a good tool to find new artists, or, you know, find somebody that you might like. So that's my take on it. Sorry, I'm reading chat. I got chat over here.
Okay, who is Chad?
Yeah,
How is Chad? How is Chad?
Chat, how are you? Say hi, chat.
Yeah. Hi, Chad.
What are your thoughts on it, Seth?
Prague.
Prague. I guess my thoughts on it is I always say there's two types of musicians, and I mean that not only in one way, but there's many ways of you know, parting that out. And one way would be there's musical artists, I would say, and musical entertainers. I would say that's a very broad distinction you could make. So someone who's really focusing on, you know, I want to have a lot of listeners and entertain them really with live shows. And then there's the artistic route where you say, I want to do something new. And if you do that, I don't think that genre is that important in that sense, because it should be your goal to sound like yourself in the end, even if it's just a funk album and not a progressive funk album. I mean, you should really be I'm gonna call out a band now.
Oh,
it's actually a band that I like, so bear with me. I like that they managed to sound pretty much like Meshuggah, like spot on. I think Jorg might know who I'm talking about. Or, I mean, now you can make jokes. Everybody sounds like Meshuggah nowadays. But
everybody tries to sound like Meshuggah. Yeah.
But no, this is a band that
you either mean Vildhjarta or Humanity's Last Breath.
All right. No, I love
both wrong.
Oh,
I love Thal.
Thal is great.
No, I'm talking about Terminal Function.
Oh,
I don't know them.
Yeah, and I really liked when I first listened to it a few times. I really liked that they really pulled off also the vocalist to sound just like Jens Kidman.
Yeah,
and that was impressive. And
their older stuff was a bit more techy.
Yeah.
Tech death. Their new stuff is getting more and more Meshuggah-ish. Yeah.
Yeah.
I made promo photos of Terminal Functions like 10 years ago somehow. And I slept in their rehearsal room.
Nice.
I also saw them live a few times and attended their band practices, and they are so insane, especially the singer, because the fun thing is he looks like the most trailer park guy you can imagine, with trucker cap, coming in with a beer and you know, like this I don't know the English word for it, but in German we call it Vokuhila, with like short hair here but long hair here.
Oh, like a mullet?
Yes, mullet. And he just came into band rehearsal. They played their fucking live set. He nailed it.
Nice.
Crushed his spear, left. Yeah. Most pro move.
Chad.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Yeah, and he's like, damn. He's serious business. Yeah. No warm up, nothing. Just goes in there, sounds perfect, is super tight.
Nice.
Like, bam. Okay, sorry. So, Terminal Function.
Yes.
In a way, I thought at first that it was impressive, and it is impressive if you can really sound so reminiscent of a band. But then I thought, after listening to them for a while, I was like, whenever I feel like listening to Terminal Function, I actually feel like listening to Meshuggah. And why shouldn't
Oh,
I
no.
just listen to Meshuggah?
Oh.
So don't
Sure.
overdo it. I think one piece of advice that I don't know if you guys know about Christian Hansen.
The name's
He's a
familiar.
YouTuber, but he's also a co-founder of Spitfire Audio, so
Oh, yes.
manufacturer of
That's why I
yeah,
know him. Okay, right.
yeah. And he said that his approach would really be like, if you want to make something sound unique today, a good approach to start is make it sound like it was written by 3 completely different composers of completely different genres. And that's how I started out. I really was like, okay, I like Meshuggah, I like soundtracks, and my first few songs, especially Futility, I think you can hear that it's basically Meshuggah's concept with, orchestra enhanced. And
Sure.
over time, I developed, obviously there's, more and more influences from all sorts of genres coming in, but combination is a good way to start out if you want to make something new. And a very good example is Afro's Celt Sound System, which is a really great band, and they just combined Irish and African folk music, actually, and it sounds
Interesting.
so ridiculously good. And
Interesting.
yeah,
Wild.
and it's so good. And I mean, those are all live musicians, so they perform it live. So it's
Oh,
all
cool.
real
Nice.
performance, not just VSTs smashed together.
Right.
So it's really nice.
I have to derail real quick. I have to
Yeah.
pee so bad.
Well, then just do it.
All right, right here. No, just kidding. All right, so I'm gonna go real quick. Do we want to do? You guys can talk if you want, but we can do a break if you guys need it.
No, we just Joe Rogan that shit, and you just go for a pee,
Okay.
and we talk on, eh?
Yeah. All right. I'll be right back.
So,
You two.
happy
chat.
peeing.
Hooray!
So let's just stare intensely for 5 minutes and don't talk a word, right? It's like
all right.
no, that's
It's like, no, let's stare in Austrian.
stare in Austrian is like, oh, suddenly police comes. Or we could switch to German and then confuse the shit out of all the Americans that are watching this now.
Probably, yeah.
No. Why are they so good in English? So, Mike and I were talking about this concept thing and storytelling and so on and so forth, and I actually wanted to go this tangent into the Cthulhu stuff, and also like mysticism and so on. Why was this so interesting for you that you decided to add to this concept and to this universe and to write your piece on this Lovecraft thing? Please do
I think it was a combination of things.
Hello.
Hi.
Happy peeing.
I think.
Great.
Oh, here we go.
I think first and foremost, my how I got into this Lovecraft universe was, as I said, I really like huge concepts or things that feel huge or as if there's a universe behind it. And that was the one thing. And the other thing was, mysticism. It's always nice to have these implications if you're making, creative music or, music that's symphonic, because you're automatically with some sorts of instruments, you insinuate that you're already, it goes into the fantasy or horror direction. But also, I think a theme that's kind of recurring in my most recent things that I'm planning on doing, but also that I have released, is the absence of humans in a way. So in both of my symphonies, it was about really, there wasn't a human soul in there. It was all like, a process of really life itself, and then the process of it getting extinct again, of something getting extinct. I didn't even want to clarify which evolution. It's not about the evolution of humans. It's just something, it's the thing itself. And yeah, I'm kind of fascinated. I like to write things where I feel like humans have the role of being, this small thing in this really big universe. And I like to have the feeling myself in real life. So I feel really small and unimportant in a way. In a way that makes me feel, And yeah, I also love to have that in the music. So it's really everything that makes, so sometimes people have told me, it's about extinction, or you must be, a misanthrope. No, I don't wish death upon anyone. It's just like, I like to imagine, a world beyond us, for example. And that was really the premise of Utterrotningen, where I was like, how will Earth be when we aren't here anymore? And it was this sense of emptiness, because in Lovecraft, you have so much emptiness. I mean, there's this sense of the vastness of the universe, but also these metaphysical. I really wanted to start with Azathoth, or the blind idiot god, because he's like the overlord of all the gods, and he's literally like existence itself. And so I started at the highest point.
Isn't he like the god that he's like, when he wakes up, existence ends, right?
Yeah.
It's like the concept.
Interesting.
You have this entity that is sleeping and dreaming, and we are that dream, or like one small part of the dream. Oh, I think Seth is hanging.
No, it's okay.
Man down.
Man down.
Wait, let's just write him. And such an important part of this.
Yeah, right. The critical turning point.
I'll just write him.
Pause while we have technical difficulties.
Yeah. And it's and you're back again.
Oh, you're back. Hi.
Okay, great.
What did I miss? I'm sorry.
I just wanted to write you.
I just wanted to text you, so yeah. That's very romantic.
It takes two idiots to form a thought.
Oh.
So, you have this one entity, and he dreams, and humanity is part of his dream, and the story is, if he should wake up, the dream ends and reality dies. So there are a bunch of other sub entities, and they're always like trying not to wake him up, like to sing kind of like songs to him, so that he stays asleep, and reality stays. Yeah, which is funny because this is like a completely other talk with this, like, are we living in a simulation or not? Yeah, you could say, okay, are we living in a dream of another entity or not? Yeah, and we don't know it, or maybe I'm the dreamer and I don't know it. Blah blah blah. Yeah. Now, I think what you say, this like, okay, I'm this this really tiny part in this huge concept. This is like the base premise for cosmic horror. Yeah, I mean, when you see it from like different movie genres, like in different horror movies, there's this like gore horror movies and slasher and ghost stories and blah blah blah, and then you have cosmic horror. Yeah. And most people think like, okay, this is what is this, like horror stories in space, like Alien? No, that's a creature feature. cosmic horror is basically this the nothing, the tiny nothingness that is human, and all of a sudden we are getting exposed to eternity, or to something that our mind cannot grasp, and we suddenly um, experience this different sizes, and we experience how unimportant small one person is, and this moment, that is cosmic horror, because this can be a very crushing feeling,
Totally.
So yes,
I think you have to be very open, I think, because, for example, Cthulhu is really the most well-known entity for a reason, because there's actual depictions of Lovecraft himself, how it has looked like, right? Or how Cthulhu looks like. With every other thing, especially Azathoth and all the outer gods, especially, they're somewhat shapeless. They can change their shapes. They're beyond shape or anything like that.
Sure.
And that's why I also decided, I need to make my own artwork for this stuff. So I created this artwork myself I could have commissioned some guy who is probably better at it than I am, but I wanted to be my own thing again.
Sure.
So you made is it this mass of eyes and mouths and tentacles and stuff?
Yeah.
This is a fun thing because mostly when people talk about this like, there's this entity, this horrific entity, and it's formless. Mostly people see like eyes and mouths and tentacles. Like the same iconography comes up when you look like even older artworks of Warhammer, when it's about like how people describe chaos, like this other dimension that is mostly like wild energy, and every time when they say there's an entity there, you mostly see something like this, which is funny, kind of. I mean I'm not saying you're like copying it, but there must be something in our modern culture, like pop culture, that is so ingrained with this iconography.
Definitely. I think so as well.
Of chaos. Why is eyes, mouth, and tentacles? Why is this formless chaos for us?
Right.
This is damn.
I mean, it still had to be an album cover, so you're still trying to make it somewhat tangible. That's the one thing, and I think it's interesting because it could really show that this is where the human fantasy, or really where
it ends,
it ends,
or it comes.
It's the I would say the proof that we cannot really imagine chaos as itself, or formlessness, because we need some kind of shapes or anything that we can hold on to, even as concepts. Every abstract concept that we have is just we try to make it somewhat tangible for ourselves, which inevitably means making it less abstract, so it's not really that abstract.
That's just a result of our human brains, right?
Yeah.
It will also be like very interesting if you maybe ask like a person from, I don't know, Japan or South Africa, or what is,
I thought of Mexico, for example.
What are your
what's the scariest being you have? In your culture?
Or how do you describe in a picture the horror that comes with formless chaos? That's what I want to see.
Sure.
Kind of. Do you also watch um like movies that are about this cosmic horror?
I I don't watch too many movies when I'm alone, so I usually really have a lot of YouTube channels that I go to, and that's plenty of content for the little time that I have.
Right.
But movies. I love Chris Nolan movies. He's my favorite director, for example, and it's again, I think it's about the transcendence of what people, this concept of time, that it's a linear thing, and all of a sudden we're so many people. Some people said, for example, that Interstellar to them was very boring because they were really concerned with, dialogue and the what is happening between the human beings, for example. But I'm always fascinated if a movie is challenging me, really. And it's the same with music. I mean, I listen to a lot of different things. We can, talk about my top 10 tracks or something of the last year. I don't have a definite top 10 list, but, some. But I always appreciate it when I watch or hear something that really challenges me, and it gives me the feeling of, oh, this hasn't been conceptualized before, I guess.
Yeah.
So no, in order to answer to your question, no, I don't watch too many horror movies that aren't about, I really like James Wan movies, but they're, it's this nice cliche thing of exorcisms and dolls, and it's entertaining.
Yeah.
I like that stuff, but I usually watch it with friends.
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah, go ahead, Jorg.
But no, cosmic horror, no.
Yeah.
I haven't actually seen any movies on it, I think. The last horror movie I showed my parents, and they were very confused. It was Suspiria.
Suspiria.
Yeah, the newer version.
Well.
Now you're asking
I'm glad you asked.
I really recommend you to watch this movie because it will, really bend a lot of things up there. But it's considered to be a classic horror movie because the first movie was actually an old one. There's a newer one from, I think, 2017. It's kind of a remake, but it's a good remake. I would really recommend you to watch that remake because it essentially tells the story, and it's about all sorts of different things. It's the main plot, you would say, is a girl going to a dance school and being accepted there, and it turns out that that turns out pretty early in the story, so that's not really a spoiler. That's they're actually performing rituals there, that it's not a pure dance school. And it might sound at first a bit, okay, just, take anything and put ritual in there and it's scary.
Evil.
But it's really challenging to watch because you also need a bit of knowledge about German history. And I'm not, the best it takes place in, separated Berlin at the, time where the wall, was
still up.
Yeah. So all that stuff, but it's so many levels, and in the end it just goes nuts. In the end, this movie is really like a song by Igor.
Full
so
circle.
It starts out normally, and then it's just I make that sound a lot when I'm lost for words.
Right. No worries. That's interesting. I'll be honest. I'm not like super into horror because generally most of the time I find them more as comedies because they're just so ridiculous. It's like, oh wow, her head's gone. Oh, that's cool. Oh, look at all that squirting juice, whatever. It's like, all right. Good
I mean,
try
that's
trying to spook
that's
me.
mainly splatter that you're talking about, right?
Yeah,
Where
yeah.
it's all
Yeah.
about blood and innards and cannibal corpse.
which can be fun too, or like art
sure.
if you want. Every time I think of like what is a good like blood and guts horror movie, I always say like The Thing.
Mm.
Have you seen
Okay.
that? There's
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
Arctic base alien
Mhm.
flamethrower stuff.
Right.
Yeah.
It
And
werfs
if
Flammen.
you what?
It werfs Flammen.
It werfs Flammen, yeah. And if you think about the how can I say, the artistry behind it, I mean it's all like prosthetics and puppets like the old one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure.
This like fucking, this is so fucking amazing to me. Like if they just put together some body pieces that are like forming, yeah, you still have to come up with it and build it and film it and then burn it, yeah, of course, because they're, yeah, and no one gets hurt, yeah. This is, for me, this is like really amazing, yeah. I mean, you can say about this genre what you want, but
Yeah.
if you see it from the perspective of how it's made with what artistry and craftsmanship,
Sure.
then this is fucking amazing, yeah.
Mm.
I mean the plot might be weak, yeah, but I always think of movies like in the most how can I say, in the most benevolent way, because I don't want to feel like that I get cheated or robbed by my time and money.
Mm-hmm.
So I
Sure.
mostly think of, okay, what can this movie give me, and how can I set myself up to be entertained and therefore happy with it? Yeah, because I would never think of, now in case of Interstellar, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I would never think of like, yeah, like person dialogue. I'm more like, okay, how did they come up uh with the imagery of a black hole? Like, how do they show us which they cannot show? Yeah,
Mhm.
and how do they show us how the main guy perceives time?
Mhm.
Like, he lost a bunch of years on this water planet,
Yeah.
and he comes back, and all of a sudden his daughter is like the same age he is, yeah,
Mhm.
which
Mm.
is kind of cosmic horror, because
Yeah.
Sure.
losing years
Mm.
because of
Time
you
dilation.
fucked up
Yeah.
your spaceship, and you had to wait an hour, yeah, and you pay for years, but not your years, but the years of your most beloved person, yeah. This for me, this movie was crushing. This was like,
Yeah.
I would never want to experience such things,
Right.
yeah, because this is like beyond my understanding of reality, because for me reality is like a second is a second, yeah, right.
Mhm.
And yeah, the same is with music and art. Before I go into an exhibition or into a concert, or before I start a new uh, album, I make a short break and think of, what can this thing give me, yeah, because even when I can
Whoa. Whoa.
still there,
Whoa.
Whoa. That was weird. Hang
that was
on.
so deep. It just crushed
What a deep talk. You broke it.
Yeah.
Oh no.
um
Skype, you're failing
before
me.
before I go into something that is art, yeah, I just take a second and think, what can it give me? Because even the best art can just go so far. Yeah, and if you go through life with crossed arms and be like, so hopefully this thing breaks through all my barriers and all my expectations and amazes me. Yeah. Man, you will be unhappy and sad and angry because you lost time and money very, very often. Yeah. I mean, I obviously like Chris Nolan movies and also challenging stuff. Yeah. But I'm also like a tasteless asshole and I like movies like Transformers or Star Wars Episode 1. Because I was like, okay, I want to see beautiful imagery of huge ass robots that punch each other for 2.5 hours now. Yeah, with nice explosions and brain off America on. Let's go in there. Yeah.
Roland Emmerich, where it's 2012. Basically, all his movies are just like the end of the world.
The end of the world.
Yeah.
And it's just spectacular imagery and nothing.
The world getting destroyed.
Yeah,
watch the world get.
I like that as well.
Yeah,
sure.
I'm always like,
okay.
How can you not be amazed by this? Because people think like, it's nothing is real. Always, all the stuff is CG. Yeah, it's not like you put on like a thinking helmet and think like, okay, I want this and this scene, and then crank it up to 11 in your cool CGI render stuff. Let it work out over the weekend. Come back and release a movie.
Right.
The apparatus behind the Hollywood movie, a bazillion people making images and music, and then you go into the movies, pay 10 to 15 euros. Yeah, I don't know, and then not being amazed by this. Yeah, it's like, okay, maybe movies are not for you.
You didn't get the concept of
what this always makes me sad and furious, and just and then mostly people talking about how unrealistic something was, or how annoyed they were by certain roles and blah blah blah, and armchair quarterbacking through the whole movie. If I could have made this movie, then make a fucking movie. Fucking do it.
Do it.
Fucking do it and burn out. Yeah.
Right.
Because I don't know. Have you guys seen the it's not a remake, but it's I think it's the sequel of Mad Max Fury Road.
Yes, I did. I saw it.
How can you not be amazed by such a movie?
I liked it.
Because basically it's a bunch of crazy people and cars in the desert driving really fast and killing each other.
Yeah.
And the first half is a pursuit, and the second half is kind of a race.
Sure. Yeah.
And that's it. But every car they had was like real, and they took that shit, dropped it in the desert, filmed it there,
it there, right?
Nobody died, which is with all the stunts you have, like people swinging around on poles with
playing a guitar
chainsaws, and while all the shit explodes. This is like, why is that not amazing to you?
It's impressive. Totally.
What has to happen in life that you are blown away? Yeah. I mean, not like you.
Probably a grenade or something.
What?
Probably just a grenade or something.
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
There you go.
Easy approach.
I mean, try to see art in the most benevolent way, and try to understand it, not just consume it, because you will just ruin it for yourself, but not with this one piece, just with every art piece there is. out there
Yeah.
when you and it's not about like how high your exceptions are. It's how you direct your exceptions. Yeah,
Sure. And
mostly.
it is a mindset too, because I used to, when I was in my teenager, fucking 18, whatever, I was angry and I didn't like a lot. Like I was just like, oh, this is. I used to be like, like Yerk, like you said, oh, this is garbage. I hate this. This is stupid. Blah 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 blah. But when I hit my 20s, I'm like, well, you maybe shouldn't think like that, because your perception of life and your outlook literally can change if you just don't think like that. If you're a little more
Yeah.
open and a little more positive, things will probably be better than they are currently, or the way I thought, when I was a lot younger. I just didn't understand, and it is it's ignorance, but being that what you may, I was younger, so and if you when you learn it, I would welcome anybody to consider thinking differently if you are being too harshly negative, because you don't have to think that way.
Yeah, definitely.
Nah, there's no one ever telling you, yeah, be super strict
Right.
and negative and look for mistakes and look for
Yeah.
failure. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because yeah, as you said, this just drags oneself down and just I don't know. It feels like you're draining to a point where you're then empty and nothing can fill you up
Sure.
anymore.
Right.
Yeah. And yeah, I don't know. This is very very frustrating. Yeah. On the other hand, people are saying like, yeah, but to get all this knowledge, to appreciate certain types of art, this takes so much time and blah blah blah. Yeah. And the next thing is, no one is telling you to know everything, to know all the movies and all the
Exactly.
music
Sure.
and all blah blah blah. You don't have to follow the trends. You just have to follow what the fuck you like.
Yeah.
And mostly with all the different types of art, when you start somewhere, you every piece takes you to to the next one, right?
Mhm.
I mean, when you start with, let's say, yeah, because we all like Meshuggah, right?
Sure.
Yeah, you start with bands like Meshuggah, and you're like, yeah, okay, this really makes me happy, and then you just follow along the trail, and you stumble upon bands like Viljarta and Terminal Function, and maybe you expand a bit, and you cannot look so fast, and all of a sudden you like Animals as Leaders, yeah,
Sure.
and
Yeah.
they're and you're then at a total different place, yeah, but you're still within the realm of 8 strings, right? So it's okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But the leap from Animals as Leaders to, let's say, Tigran Hamasyan, it's not that much of a
Not
big
that
one. If
much.
you know him,
I don't.
you don't. Yeah, he's Armenian jazz pianist
Okay.
that I really like, and he has.
you warned me of him.
Oh.
You were like, yeah, I'm listening to a lot of him.
Yeah,
Armenian jazz. Yeah, and
was
I was
like-
and I was googling Armenian jazz, and that came up. Yeah, I was like,
Yeah.
oh, okay.
Was it
Ah.
just mainly it's Tigran Hamasyan, and he has done a featuring with Tosin Abassi from AL,
Sure.
and
Ow.
speech economy, and yeah, but people who listen to his music have really said, even with the singles where he's just doing his solo stuff with his band, someone commented, now it's really time for a joint band with Animals as leaders, because it's the really cool thing where bands like Meshuggah have been influenced by, let's say, jazz, or Frederick from Meshuggah is actually a jazz, guitarist. And then, there's jazz artists like Tigran Hamasyan who were then inspired by things like Meshuggah or modern prog stuff in terms of, being more bold with rhythmic decisions and really embracing this kind of odd meter polyrhythmic thing that, is so popular these days.
Yeah.
So it's so great how, these nowadays in the age of the internet, you can really it gets more transparent in a way, because people tell you what they are inspired by.
Sure.
And now we can really, you can trace it back, and that's exciting thing,
right?
I would say
it's very well documented.
Indeed.
Definitely.
Why don't we talk about what albums we're into right now, or what we're listening to?
Yeah.
As of the last few months.
Podcasts.
Oh, you listen to okay, that's fine. What podcast are you watching?
You people start. I have to just check my Spotify for albums I'm listening to.
Yeah, I'll probably do that as well. Do you want? I can go first if you want, or doesn't matter. Doesn't matter to me.
I could go first as well and surprise you, I guess. I mean,
kick it.
Today I've been listening to the new Humanity's Last Breath album.
Oh my god!
I haven't listened to it.
It's fucking horrifying. It's great.
It's horrifyingly great. I was waiting for that.
Yeah.
So
yeah, horrifyingly filthy and just good.
It's so good. Yeah, so that was the last thing that I listened to before this convention.
Right.
Have you seen Buster's guitar playthrough that he released a few weeks ago?
Yeah.
And he was like, it doesn't even make sense to give you guys the tabs because the tuning is changing like all the time.
Yeah.
Like
Sure.
you need the
pedal.
settings of his drop pedal.
Yeah.
And he's like, I mean, yeah, when you watch him play and you see stuff like he's just shredding some chords and you have this staccato cutting, I literally heard purists scream from home. He's like, just shredding this at the computer does all the work. Can you just play it? Blah, blah, blah. And I was like, oh yes.
Oh yes, he can.
I enjoy this.
Look at
Great
him
moment.
going there. Yeah. Like washing himself clean with your tears.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Stuff like this. Yeah. I don't know if he was like, yeah, I'm doing this just to spite these people. Yeah. I don't know. But it kind of felt like it. Yeah.
Right.
But thing is still you have to come up with it. Yeah. And you have to be like, yeah, I'm just okay for this for this riff I need this and this tuning, and for this riff I need this and this tuning. Also the BPMs are changing and blah blah blah. Yeah. And this is where the kind of the prog comes in. Yeah. He's stepping over limits. Yeah.
Yeah.
And as we know, kind of a lot of limits are just artificial because we think a certain way and we say how things have to be like real or true, or not like true in a black metal way, but in like this is like real music because a human plays it. Yeah. And he's like, yeah, but we are in an age of technology and I will use every tool that is available to me or invent it even. Yeah. And flip my guitar upside down and be fucking crazy. Yeah. Which he is, obviously. and tap into something that wasn't here before. I mean, of course, he's not inventing something new, but he is combining very interesting things, like this black metal feeling, but also this really postmodern progressive approach to extreme metal music. And he's just, yeah, I mean, I cannot play this, and I cannot detune my guitar with this who has it again?
Tuning.
Michael Mandering, the bass player. He has this snap tuner where he
Really?
can with a flick of a switch, like mechanically, like detune
Yeah.
certain
Yeah.
strings.
That's cool.
And he has it on the headstock and on the body, so he can almost like do it with like two full tones, like going up and down. Yeah. And Buster was like, yeah, I don't give a shit. I just tune it whatever I want. Yeah. And thing is, he made this humanity's last breath concept, and he works within his framework, and everything sounds like it's out of the same box. Yeah. So his concept really has cohesion, and yeah, it just works out, and for me it's valid. Yeah.
Sure.
Even though he's heavily reliant on technology. Yeah. But also this is not a new approach, because again, when you go over to our friends in electronic music, all what they are using is like their fucking computer.
Yeah. Right.
Because why the fuck not? Yeah. And as I said, the same with movies. You have to come up with it. Yeah. You have to still process this in your brain and use technology to get it out of the brain to other people. And as we said, this is a very tedious thing, and it's very hard, and it's mostly not maybe not experienced as fun, but it is rewarding, which is fun again. Yeah. Otherwise, there are not much other reasons why you should do something as hard as this. Yeah.
Sure.
So yeah, I mean, yeah, I still have to listen to this whole album. I only know the singers that were released before, and they are all great. It feels like he tapped into something like years before, but he's coming closer and closer to the core of it. Yeah. And then he can expand the core. Yeah. And really work it out. Yeah. And this is a really interesting thing. I think with the current album, he maybe wrote and released his like I don't want to say the Black Album. I want to say I want to more say like the Nothing of Meshuggah. Maybe this is the one where
it's their best album.
Kicks it
think.
off.
Yeah.
I'm
not like
kind of,
sorry. Not like now he's getting famous, but now he found the core, and now he can expand on it.
Sure.
With this. Beside that, he made like 1 million streams.
Yeah.
In a day or two, which is insane for
insane.
music like that. Yeah?
Insane.
Yeah.
Honestly.
So shout out, Buster. You did a great job.
Yeah.
I love you.
Hell yeah.
So sorry, Seth.
Yeah.
I think an analogy that you used back in the day when we talked about Meshuggah, you said it for you. they really are a band who distilled their sound, and I really like
Yeah.
the phrase, the word that you used there. It's about distilling your sound, and
Because
I
it's about
think
alcohol, right? And we're
yeah,
Austrians. We like to
or,
get our
or the
sound. Yep.
yeah, and I think HLB are on the way of doing that, and that's actually what I'm trying to do with my music as well, because
Yeah.
up to now it has been combining things, and now I really want to get to, as you say, the core of what it is really my sound, and how can I expand it to sound even more like me. And yeah, I think I agree that I think that this HLB album is really a step closer to the heart of the whole project, I would say. Because then after I've listened to the whole new album, it skipped to the Spotify's then played the remastered first album,
Yeah.
which was also amazing, but you could hear that it was like, not
Yeah, it was.
There. Yeah.
It was.
Yeah.
It was a bit more all over the place.
Yeah,
But
definitely.
it was a bit more like rougher and youthful and not so. I mean it's still chaotic and wild, but it feels more calculated
Sure.
and intentional. And the other one, what was it called? The remastered one? Is it?
Oh,
is
I
it?
forget.
Is
Hang
it
on.
the Tester?
No, it's
Sure, I'm such a bad fan. I should know.
it's
Or
just
what was
I
it?
think it's just called Humanity's Last Breath.
Yeah, I
yeah.
think
Okay,
it's
self-titled,
called like
so.
the band.
Yeah, self-title. Yeah.
Self-title.
It felt more like, oh, this is brutal. I just added. This is also brutal.
Right.
I just added.
I just added.
Yeah, just brutal part after brutal part, and
Right.
and just
Yeah.
crushing on people, which is also an approach. Yeah,
Mhm.
but now it feels like maybe the approach to the current one is exactly the same. Yeah, I don't know, but it feels more intentional and more calculated and more like all this violent energy a bit more channeled into an not like in a direction but in a general area.
Sure.
Yeah, Humanity's Last Breath is
Hell yeah.
great.
Damn right. Hell
Also
yeah.
also saw them live.
How was that?
Cool, really cool, really
Hell
tight.
Nice.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. They're playing it over a computer and interface live. Just drums, two guitars, one singer. Synchronized light show, like all the bells and whistles, like really nice Swedish style headbanging, like forehead to the floor kind of stuff.
Nice.
Which is the way to go. And yeah, great sound, tight playing, of course. Yeah, and very very apocalyptically.
Were there any other albums you were listening to, Seth, currently?
Currently, I listen to a lot of stuff. I have my playlists on Spotify. It's mainly that might come as off as a surprise, but I sort them after kind of feeling. So
Sure.
more good. When I'm feeling, just I have my happy music, although it's not called happy music because obviously I have to, be more creative like that. But HLB usually goes to my angry playlist.
Right.
Aw, I
Which
thought this is your happy music.
No, in my happy music, there's a lot of Tigran Hamasyan, Corey Wong also.
Okay.
So there's a lot of melodic music from all sorts of genres, really. Pretty much anything except Austrian and German Schlager.
Aw.
So
I don't know what that is.
Yeah.
Schlager.
That's
It's
not pop. but it's
folk music,
yeah.
but
Gotcha.
with a very strong emphasis on 4/4.
Hooray!
Yeah,
4/4.
and with a strong like uh techno vibe-ish
Okay.
kick
Yeah, kind of.
to it.
Gotcha.
Like you have the yeah.
Yeah.
No,
All
Okay.
confused with techno, but with the pop aesthetic of
Yeah.
one. Usually it's women standing in front, and really, it's mostly synchronized. It's never really a live performance. Hardly ever. It would be,
Yeah.
and
Understood.
but nobody cares. It's all like they have this Musikantenstadel, they call it. Those are the concerts, and it's really just happening, and where everybody's clapping.
Oh
And
my god.
you have to be in 4/4 because everybody needs to clap along. Of course, you can't do that in 15/7.
Right.
And
Of
is
course
drunk.
not.
And is drunk.
That's why it's
very
4/4,
important.
right?
Yeah. Yeah, because you have these huge tent festivals and everything.
Yeah.
It's like
Okay.
And beer,
like
lots of beer.
Yeah, sure. Kegs.
Oktoberfest.
Here's
Yeah.
this is my I got a beer and it's this big. It's $5.
And all the lyrics are pretty much all the lyrics are about heartbreak and
Yeah,
love,
heartbreak
love.
or alcohol
Hooray.
or partying, like
Partying, yeah,
like
partying
that,
and love and heartbreak.
So you're telling me this is the German and Austrian version of country? Gotcha. No, I'm just kidding.
Kind of, yeah.
Yeah,
In an
I would say
obtuse
yes.
way.
Somewhat.
kinda ish.
I
The
feel
only-
like Josh Turner. Yeah, and I'll die on this hill.
I will die on this hill.
I like Josh Turner,
Okay. Yeah.
but that's kind of an obvious thing because bass voices, and I have to be inspired. I mean, I'm kind of biased in that way, but you can put anything, but when it has a great bass singer, I'm usually like, I like this.
Yeah, yeah,
All right.
I like J-pop, so I mean, if
Yeah,
I'll die
Oh,
on this
yeah.
hill. I love
That's
J-pop.
okay.
I like baby metal.
Hell yeah!
Ah,
Have you heard Iron Bunny?
What?
Iron Bunny.
Iron Bunny? No.
So it's literally a guy in a mech suit who plays guitar, and he's got like 3 female, vocalists. It's great.
Send
Basically,
it
sort of
over.
like baby. Okay, I'll send it over.
send it over. I want it.
I want it.
I want it now. No,
want
I
this
had.
in my life.
I don't know. I don't know if it's J-pop, but I really enjoy this one group. It's called, I may be butchering it again, Sokoki Naru, something like this. Yeah, which is
Okay.
like just a guitar player who
Mhm.
sings and a bass player lady who sings and
Nice.
a really wild drummer, and it feels like this Japanese kind of rock music,
Cool.
like manga,
Yeah, like
anime,
anime. Opening
intro music,
theme,
but
right?
but on fucking steroids. Yeah,
Yeah.
they're so technical and so fast. Yeah,
Ooh.
but yeah, and to play it with a Fender single coil Stratocaster.
Interesting.
And it has this indie rock feeling, but suddenly he goes into fucking overdrive and drops it down, yeah, and it gets really wild. And they have playthroughs where they also show his like footwork on
Oh, yeah,
on the
okay.
pedals, because he's using pedals and amps, and he's just dancing the whole time and playing and singing. Yeah.
Oh, that's amazing.
And yeah, this was this yeah, but it basically sounds like yeah, anime intro music, and I
Hell
don't
yeah.
want to diminish it because it's complex and hard to play music. Yeah,
Indeed.
and
Sorry, I'm fixing
yeah,
the table here.
what else was there? Beneath the Massacre released last year.
Yeah.
Released a new album. It's called Fearmonger, and they're like my favorite tech death band still. because they go from crazy fast blast beat stuff to the most caveman breakdowns. Yeah, which is
Slam.
I don't know. Yeah, it is very slamish because when you I don't know, when you check out other tech death bands, it's all the time it's fast shredding music.
Yeah.
And when everything is is fast and shreddy, then nothing is. Yeah.
Right.
And Beneath the Massacre they go from high speed race to full stop. Yeah. And to very slow parts, and so every part just makes the part before stronger with it.
Gotcha.
What else was there? Yes, some Loath. Maybe know those guys.
I know
Loath
I know
from
them, but I haven't listened to them.
from England.
Mhm.
I can really recommend them because they bring a lot of Meshuggah style stuff to it, but also like Deftones.
Okay.
They're very melodic, but all in all, they have this kind of punk rock feeling because everything is kind of distorted and dirty. Yeah. And yeah, they go from really brutal tracks to kind of ballads. Yeah.
Okay.
What is this one song called? Two-Way Mirror, I think.
Okay.
This is, I don't know. You just
I don't know.
listen to it and think of heartbreak somehow.
Okay.
This is so, yeah, but yeah, I don't know. Check it out, Loath. Yeah.
Okay. Will do.
And of course, Pathogen.
Yes.
Those janty boys.
Indeed.
And
one album that has really impressed me, but I've never, gotten into their music, but now with their last album, Pain of Salvation, Panther.
Yeah.
Okay.
I really like this. I mean,
Oh.
it's very different, that was one of these things. I have to take time. I have to sit down and really, take it in now.
Yeah.
And also I've kind of left behind this feeling that I got when, first getting into Meshuggah and Jant, that you kind of are in danger of going, everything has to sound punchy, like, let's say, Periphery. So every distorted guitar tone on this planet has to sound like Periphery or Tesseract.
Yeah.
And
otherwise it's not worthy.
Yeah. Right.
And Pain of Salvation are very creative with their songwriting, and I've always admired people who can create great, interesting textures without using 50 layers, because they are just using like 5 or so. So it's much more confined in its instrumentation, I would say, than compared to my music where you have 50 tracks. But sometimes that's compensation of so many times it was like, okay, this riff is boring. Instead of making it more interesting, let's just add a lot of stuff, and let's roll that way.
Obscure it. Yeah.
If you restrict yourself in that manner, you kind of force yourself to be more creative with what you have, and that way you using the guitars and drums in kind of unconventional, more creative ways. And I think it's a good way actually to write music.
Because you have like less tools, but you just went out.
Space went out.
Space went out. Oh no.
Oh no. We're next. No, just kidding.
Hey guys.
Are we lost now?
We're adrift a planetary spaceship.
Imagine that.
We technically are, right?
You're no. You're going out one night and you're not in a huge city or something, and you're looking up and you see like stars, and all of a sudden it goes dark.
You want to talk about cosmic horror? That would scare the fuck out of me.
That would
scare the fuck out of me.
Yeah.
Be like, where are we now? All right.
Yeah. Moon's gone.
What are we doing now? That would not be a fun time. I'd like to wake up now.
It would be kind of dark, yeah. Nah,
Right? And it would get cold like
yeah.
that. It would get cold pretty
Beside
quickly.
that,
Yeah.
bam, yeah. But not only our sun is gone, like all the suns are gone, and now it's
Oof.
eternal
It's like
darkness.
The
Pretty cold, huh?
humanity's last breath, what they
Literally.
used on they wrote something on some artworks, I think on a shirt that I own, yearning for all light to cease. It's like
Ooh.
Goosebumps.
That's so metal.
That is very metal, but that is brutal, man. Damn. I mean, I always because this is like the cosmic experience, so we have to talk about space, right?
yeah, sure.
I always was like really intrigued of the concept of exoplanets,
Yeah.
but
Yep.
like wandering planets that are not
Rogue planets.
that are that are not caught into like the gravitational forces of like suns or black holes or something. They're just drifting in space. Like I like to imagine that somehow something evolved there, yeah, who could not in directly not in our terms, but kind of like lives and thrives and moves and grows somehow, yeah. And how would it look and feel and do its things? Because obviously life as far as we know at least needs some kind of light or heat, yeah. But what if you don't have this fixed source of light and heat? Yeah, I mostly think of but what if you have like a liquid core in your planet, and it gives off like heat? Yeah, you don't really need light, because obviously on our planet there are like crazy living things on the bottom of the ocean. They basically look like aliens,
Right.
yeah, or look vastly different than we are, and they're thriving and moving and doing shit, yeah. And I don't know, something like this, but amped up to 11, yeah,
Yeah.
Right.
and drifting around on this huge planet, yeah. What would it? I don't know. Have you ever had that thoughts of some concepts like this, and you tried to conceptualize it or hash it out?
With a concept like that, it
I don't know.
is. Well, it's a little hard because, like, you're right. Life does need some sort of heat and light to thrive and evolve. So
I always say like life as we know it. I mean,
right, yeah. If you're gonna go,
we could hypothesize and say like, yeah, but with different building stones, you don't need
Right.
light.
If it's a newer planet that formed and it does have some sort of molten core, your chances could be higher because you can produce some sort of potentially a magnetic field, which would help with, I guess, wandering empty space, and maybe keeping some sort of atmosphere. It could also be underground too.
What do you mean?
Like it could potentially be too cold on the surface, and it might, if there is a planetary core, it could be underneath, like in caves or whatnot, under the earth, under the planet itself, so that it's closer to, well, I don't know how close you want to be to the core, but it'll be a little warmer than if you were on the surface of the planet itself. There's also theories of like gas giants and whatnot, where they have like microbial like life and stuff like that it flies or whatnot. That's always a fun theory to think about because it could be possible for just something completely out there that would shatter every because if you think about it, if we found something else, it would literally I watched. You guys know Melody Sheep, the YouTube channel?
Yeah.
No.
Wow,
All
that's
right.
a great one.
I'll send you.
Great, always great music.
Okay.
Anyway, I'll send you some of his videos. He talks it's basically really nice visuals, really nice animation, and then they get like scientists and they ask them questions. And they did one, what would alien life look like? Here's the life as we know it, and then life as we don't know it.
Yeah.
You could potentially get some really weird looking aliens.
Isn't that video called a museum of life
Yep.
or museum
Yep,
of
something like
aliens?
that. Mhm.
What do you mean? Yeah. I think their most popular video is time lapse into future.
Yeah,
I
that one's
think.
good.
Yeah.
Mm.
Where it's like does it start like on Earth or really at the year 0, like with the Big Bang? I don't know.
I forget if it starts like where we are right now or the beginning of Earth.
it starts where we're right now. Yeah.
Yeah.
And the video accelerates all. I think I may be wrong, but it doubles all 5 seconds.
Mhm.
Because the longer our universe exists, the less things happen, or the longer it takes for things to like still happen. Yeah. And this is a really interesting one because it shows like really good, like there's this pockets of time where life as we know it can happen.
Mhm.
Yeah. Because we're still at a young age of our universe where existence allows it that there are stars. Yeah.
Mhm.
But at a certain point all the stars are burned out and yada yada yada.
Right.
And then there's I think in the at the end of the second third, at the end there could be another pocket of life because then all certain brown stars collide.
Yeah.
And like reburn for a couple of millennia.
Mhm.
And allow life to happen, and then all the fuel is burned out, and there's a certain point and there's just black holes.
Right.
And black holes swallowing each other. And then there's this thing called Hawking radiation, where there's the theory that black holes just evaporate at some point, and then at a certain point you reach the absolute entropy, where all the matter we have is just broken down into like tiniest quarks and just distributed evenly in the thing that we call space.
Yeah.
And nothing is moving because there is no energy left.
Yeah,
It's
there's
burned
nothing.
out.
Yeah.
So time becomes meaningless when there is no movement, like in our concepts. Yeah?
True. Yeah.
Mhm.
And this video is just, I don't know, half an hour.
Yeah, half
but
hour
it was
or so.
really revealing and
It's impressive.
opening for me because of course it works with bazillion years, yeah, which I cannot fathom. I cannot even fathom like
Right.
yeah, I'm living 34 years now, and I'm like, wow, this feels like eternity. Yeah. But it shows complex scientific concepts and tries to visualize them, so you kind of get a feel of this abstract things that are a million years and the cosmic scales of time and distances and stuff. Yeah, and also great music with it. Yeah, they have an extra Spotify thing too, and it's very neoclassical. Feels like movie music. Yeah,
which is always great.
Yeah,
well,
definitely.
well produced. Yeah, and yeah, they have this time lapse. It's either called Time Lapse to the Future or Time Lapse to the End of Time, but I'm not sure. And then they have this a Museum of Life,
Yes.
which are the most popular, but they are releasing like I think every year there's a video, and it's always amazing.
He just did a quick one about how every time you blink, which is about
oh no, I don't want to blink right now.
yeah, right. Every time you blink, which is about 0.05 milliseconds, if I'm remembering correctly. 300 stars die.
Yeah.
So don't blink.
Stop blinking.
Stop blinking. So yeah, that was a fun one. Whoopsie. Oh no. God, sugar. Sorry, I'm doing a quick other thing over here. I'm doing well. We were talking about Humanity's Last Breath.
Yeah.
And I'm super meticulous with like my playlists and whatnot. So I prefer the album art on the album, right? And I know it makes like it's weird. So I take the singles out of my playlist because I prefer how the album art looks.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah. So that
I
album art's dope.
totally understand.
Yeah, that album art's so dope. I want the shirt. I'm going to buy the shirt. Which I haven't bought a band shirt in a very long time. In all, I'm literally purging 2/3 of my collection.
That's rough.
Well, I mean, here's the thing. It's like I'm not going to wear them. Like in all, I've come to this kind of, I've kind of progressed, I guess, mentally. And it's like, do I really need this? It's like, I don't really need this. Someone else would find more enjoyment in wearing this shirt than I will. It's literally just hanging up in my closet. I'm not wearing this. So let me sell it to somebody who will want it. Meanwhile, I can recoup my wardrobe with shirts I will wear. So that's why I'm doing it. That's the thought process I have. But anyway, I was talking about that in the.
Are you talking about the painting?
Which painting?
Of the artwork. I feel like it's a painting, isn't it?
It looks like a painting. It's kind of what would you call it? Abstract-y? Kind of. I don't know. I'm not good with terminology.
It reminded me of work by. I need to Google his name. And I cannot even Google his name. I think because he's Polish, and you know how.
I know exactly.
Big Shinsky or however, however the fuck you pronounce it.
He mostly paint. It always looks like a Tool music video, like weird bony bodies. Mostly like skullish faces, but still there's a lot of skin on it. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I know exactly who you mean. I was thinking the same thing.
The big Shinsky.
Yeah.
I mean
some Polish fantasy name. I don't know. Yeah, this monolithic thing. Yeah,
I mean, what's fascinating to me, because you've been talking about, life as we know it, and I've been, really interested in all these, interstellar concepts, and I really love to think about, how we don't really understand time as as it probably is or functions, or dimensions. Just move to another dimension, and it's like, that's why.
Coming. I think
That's how that's already what I love about also what I love about, Chris Nolan movies, for
Mm-hmm.
example. But then I recently got a tarantula as a pet,
Hell
and
yeah.
just as a kind of thought that I wanted to drop here. When I
Yeah.
look at this animal
Mhm.
and realize that the more I learn about this particular animal, that, for example, it doesn't really see red wavelengths of light.
Sure.
So when I turn the light in my room red, it will perceive it probably as kind of darkness. At the same time, it doesn't really see that well, and most of its the way it really senses its surroundings is by sensing vibration.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And what I want to say, I guess, is we don't know shit about life even here.
Yeah,
So-
absolutely not.
Yeah.
Absolutely
So-
not.
Yeah, or think like like the organ that certain birds have. Like I think it's set here. Like when it comes to what's the English word? Like birds that move a lot.
Migrating.
Like
Migrating.
yeah. But what is the term that you use for this type of birds?
Migrating birds.
I think. I don't know well either.
I don't know words. So yeah,
I don't know
Google.
words.
they are sensing magnetic fields.
Yes.
Like they have an additional sensory organ for it.
Mm-hmm.
Like we cannot even basically describe how this thing would feel because we don't have the body for it. Yeah, we don't have this additional organ. Yeah. But for them, it's like, yeah, of course. Don't you see the lines in the air? I just follow them at a certain time
Yeah.
of the year, and then just be there, and I always nail it. So
Right.
what the fuck's your problem? Yeah,
Yeah.
stuff
So-
like that. And we need extensive computations and radar and GPS and stuff for it. Yeah, so we can somehow imitate it.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Right.
And for them, it's just do it. So no problem.
Yeah, so with that theory in mind, obviously, we've talked about like the lost civilizations route a few times. I kind of really latch onto, who knows if it's real or not. This is just how I would like to maybe think about it, and I'm probably going to tie this in with my concept as I continue to write it more thoroughly. But if we're talking about the civilizations that were that have seemed to have been here 10, 12, 11,000 years ago, what if we did have this magnetic energy, like we could perceive it, but we can't anymore? Thoughts?
That's
Seth,
like
first.
brain gymnastics.
At this hour.
Oh yeah, it's late for you guys.
But
you know,
never mind. We're well
think it's-
caffeinated.
I think it's great because it shows that you have been, thinking about this stuff, and meanwhile, while we were talking about, I cannot really perceive the world as my tarantula does, then it, the more you think about it, I cannot perceive the world as Jorg does, and then, we're basically at the, the singularity of your own, point of view from which you perceive it all, and then we're at cosmic horror, and we're all just
Again.
in the dream
Right.
of an entity.
Yeah.
But to be honest, I didn't completely understand your
My
your
or your
vision. Because it was kind of similar to saying, okay, what would be if we had the technology that we have now, back then? Would
So-
just
what if we didn't need technology as much as we do now because we have become more crippled as a species? If that makes sense.
yeah.
No.
I know exactly what you mean, but I think we are not. I think humanity expanded more and more, not because in the terms of because we made computers and machines and so on and so forth. No, because for us it's becoming more and more easier to communicate with each other and to form our thoughts more clearly, because basically uh communication is like I have this picture in my mind and I have to plant it into your mind, so you see and feel and perceive what I see. Yeah. So and um back then we just had to use words and maybe the paintings and stuff, and now I have like a computer and multimedia stuff, and I can explain my view with music and pictures and sounds and data and whatever. Yeah. And it's becoming faster and more effective. So what I want to say is I have the feeling more and more the collective thought of humanity is coming more coherent and our brains are moving closer to each other. It's just the way of communicating is still not there and still not as effective as it could be. But I think we're on a good way to do it. Also because I have more and more the feeling, excuse me, more and more the feeling that like and maybe I'm wrong. I have more and more the feeling that like empathy is on the rise more. Like people are actively trying to see beyond their own realm, and actively trying to understand, hey, what is my neighbor thinking, or my friends, or those other peoples on the interwebs who like progressive music.
Right.
Because we don't just talk about progressive music, we talk about, hey, how are you in this crazy world that we're living in? Let's exchange. Because obviously it's working, because I can talk with you two guys and you're in totally different cities and or different parts of this planet, and still talk about
Sure.
In
this-
real time.
In real time. Right.
fucking real time, while being watched by
Millions
two-
of people. Wait.
I wanted to say 2 or 3 other people. I don't know. In real time and maybe afterwards. And I think. I mean, Mike. Yeah, I know. What you want to say, and it has to do with a lot of that people were a bit closer to each other in back in the day. And also because a lot of knowledge got lost and made space for a lot of interpretation.
Sure.
And of course there's science behind it. But
it's one of those cases where
there's a lot of stuff is lost. And we have to fill the gaps like meticulously.
Right.
Yeah.
And filling that gap, you can be creative.
Yeah, of course. We can hypothesize. Is this a word? I feel like
what
it's
would
a
it
word.
be? Hypothesize.
Yeah. Yes.
Words.
Yeah. I'm not like. I'm interested in history, but I'm not. I'm far off of a scientist when it comes through it, and I love to talk about it, and I like to believe that people were experiencing the world like more wholly because there were like less distractions.
Sure.
Yeah,
Totally.
but I also I also feel like there's a lot of like romanticizing from a modern standpoint to like simpler times.
Remember the 50s? No, I'm just kidding. At least here in
Great
America.
times.
The
Um,
best times. Yeah.
Cherry pie and whatnot, all that stuff. But yeah, I just like to think about that kind of stuff because that's probably the direction I'm gonna go with my concept in some sort of, what did we lose kind of mentality. What was it like kind of thing? Because think of it now. Let's pretend. Let's try to explain. Like, oh man, it's hard to even word. It's hard to even
Do it. Do
try
it.
to try to perceive it into words. So let's say
More words. More words.
more words. Let's say, one of us got plucked out of this time period and we were dropped a few thousand years from now, and you go, where the fuck is everything? Where's the cities and all this other stuff? And it's like, we used to be able to talk to people on our phones. Like, I could see somebody. It's like that kind of stuff. And if that's lost, it's, it's kind of like, oh, fuck, kind of thing.
Damn. I would be so terrified of all the nature.
Cosmic horror. Why are bears 12 feet tall or high? They're kind of 12 feet tall now. In some cases. Why are they 30 feet high? It's like weird stuff.
Why are there so much of them?
Right. But yeah, I think that stuff's fun.
Yeah.
And whatnot. Seth, thoughts?
Yeah, I think as you said, we romanticize, the simpler times. In some way, you have to make it less complicated for yourself in order to not, just lose your mind, because obviously
Right.
you can overthink everything.
Everything. Yeah.
And I'm really, trying. I'm in the phase of my life that sounds so, pathetic.
No. That's great.
No,
That's
it's
great.
fine. Yeah.
I'm very, self-reflective, and I really, think, ahead about what I want to change for, the next few years or something. And when it comes to my music, for example, I really want to, concentrate on the music more and do less maybe of the, all of the different stuff. I want to make regular content on YouTube, but
okay.
for example, when we're talking about graphic representation, I think my covers or my artworks that I'm working on for future singles are really more simplified in a way.
Okay.
And it sort of reflects that. But also, since I'm, as I talked about my new tarantula, I'm studying biology, and
Okay.
I think that really influences me in my life philosophy. My life philosophy has always been heavily influenced by my wisdom about, or my knowledge about biology, and in a way, I think we can really expand our potential if we reduce the kind of things that we're doing. So it's like, let me be the best person or spokesperson for, let's say biology, if even that's impossible.
Right.
But for example, I had a course quite recently, and someone who was an expert for, I don't even know how you call these animals, so I'll Google it.
Okay.
He was an expert for millipedes.
Oh, like Senate, like
Yeah,
400
centipedes and
legs.
millipedes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
400
Yeah.
legs. Yeah.
And at first it really sounds, something like that sounds ridiculous, but in a way, I think by reducing the area of your on which you're operating, you can really expand the potential. And I'm talking about, music as well as, knowledge, and that way we can, via the internet now and via these possibilities, I think we can expand our potential as a species even more, as a thinking species. And I think that's what we have been doing. That's why, or as you said, I think you refer to us as a crippled species, because, if someone shut down all the technology that we have, we would be pretty, lost, deprived of any orientation, really.
Mad Max.
But that just shows that we really relied on, or have been relying on, it's all just extensions of our bodies in a way, and our minds. And when I'm writing something down, I mean, I write everything down every day. Pretty much. I plan my days, but sometimes I follow these plans, sometimes I don't. But just the act of writing something down so you don't forget it, it makes such a difference. And now, obviously, with where we're at right now, 2021, I think, global pandemic. Just imagine how that, we know how the plague went.
Right.
And I think we're already pretty good at handling such an extreme situation. And it's fascinating.
Compared to plague or Spanish flu or stuff like that, who raged years and years and brought down generations. And this is like, okay, last year it went to shit, and this year we kind of took control, and next year it will be more under control, I hope. Right. So this really shows like a global process of the whole human species, and the ability to react as a whole,
Sure.
And
even though there's a lot of conflict and mismanagement and so on and so forth, but still, as Seth said, compared to other pandemics, this is like not as a big deal, because we're taking control over it. I mean, they, like, people who are like more competent than me.
Right, working on vaccines and whatnot.
And
So hopefully, hopefully we turn around this year, and next year we're in a significantly better spot, almost back to normal. I'm hoping.
I would never travel to the past, like Mike said. Like, if I get this time machine thing and be like, I could travel to our
Anywhere?
I would,
Yeah.
or I mean, not as far. I would maybe be like, I don't know, like, check.
I want to see the pyramids.
I mean, I can see the pyramids. I just have to get my ass into a plane and fly down to Egypt and pyramids. No, because I'm more like, it's maybe it's a hygiene thing. Imagine from this point.
Oh God, right?
The more you go, the more you go into the past, the filthier it gets.
Yeah, definitely.
Like, imagine that, the horror of all the sickness and dirty places there are. And the next thing is communication. Like, okay, you meet people from Germany, but they are not talking your type of German. They could, for my part, they could talk Chinese. And it's like, I wouldn't understand them, and they wouldn't understand me, and they would just see me and be like, okay, this is this strange white guy dressed weirdly. He must be a witch. So
kill him. Get him.
Or at least
mob.
I don't know. Put him in chains and It's not a good
Yikes.
time.
Yeah, right.
Not a good time.
You have to be
James.
invisible in this time machine. Nobody can see you.
Invisible also. Okay.
Well, what do you think? I would want to be invisible. I want to go see some dinosaurs too. I want to see what colors they were. Because I'm weird like that. I just want to know what, the dinosaurs look like and whatnot.
Okay.
You
So
know-
you actually you what you want is time travel, but you want to be invisible and you don't want to like interact with stuff like that.
I'm more of
That's
an
a-
observer, if you
that's
will.
Spectator.
Yeah, I'm a
that
spectator.
That sounds really yeah. I mean, yeah, I'd like to go on to cruise and maybe get fed, but it's a cruise through time, because I'm a
Right.
fucking white tourist. Yeah, just pay some money and just haul my ass to the dinosaurs and show me
Right.
them
Yeah,
because I want to see the colors.
I'm weird.
No, you're not weird. You're just convenient. I think if you have the balls to time travel, you have to do it all the way. Yeah,
Yeah.
Gotcha.
And when you come back, we can form a band and
if you
make-
come back.
If you come
if you
back.
come back,
Right.
we can form a band and call it Neanderthal's First Gasp and be like, and you write all the lyrics and it's like,
Have like some dinosaur noises. That'd be brilliant.
well, I'm using animal noises in some tracks, so
Obtuse animal noise plays in distance.
No animals were harmed in this progressive metal.
Correct. Absolutely. Oh, good gravy.
So yeah,
hmm
we're 3 hours in.
Indeed, this is usually the time where we say goodbye, everybody.
No.
But
bye and shut down. And
Goodbye.
it's,
Yeah.
it's
Isn't
over.
that the time where some of us asks like dire questions? Or
Indeed.
comes up with a dire situation. I mean, just one thing I want to add to
Mhm.
this like time travel and all the nature. Here.
Fuck the rules.
Fuck the rules.
So recently on this recently for it's for 1.5 years now. I'm on this fitness and sports and nutrition trip and changing myself and exposing myself to weird and hard stuff.
Right.
And I was like, yeah, okay. I'm always afraid and weirded out by when I'm surrounded by nature and woods. Yeah, because it I don't know. I grew up in a city and I'm like used to be surrounded by buildings and concrete and steel and cars, people. Yeah, so all of a sudden when I'm in nature, I have this again cosmic horror feeling because I'm
What do I
just
do?
this
Yeah.
little human in this huge vast entity that
Right.
is basically the woods like next door, yeah,
Mhm.
because it's just up the hills, yeah. And I'm for weeks now I'm exposing myself to this situations where I get up in the morning between 4 and 5, take my hiking gear and my flashlight and go up into the woods
Mhm.
for an hour, like in darkness,
Yeah.
and just try to go my route and then not go like crazy because of all the weird sounds. Yeah. And it all started when a friend of mine and I, when we were just marching late at night, like power marching and sweating stuff. And I was like, yeah, let's just go a different route and go up the hills into the woods. Yeah. And then we were like talking. He's like, yeah, I don't know, but a human in the woods, it does something to your mind. Yeah.
Sure.
And now
Totally.
I want to like I want to experience this and come up with it. What is this primal fear that comes up into a I see myself as a kind of a rational guy, you know. I mean, I like to talk about transcendent stuff and I don't know that this is broadly, let's say, aliens and ghosts and demons and blah blah blah.
Right.
Yeah, but I'm mostly like really scientific and say like, yeah, there's no proof of it. Yeah, but it's a nice topic somehow. But why does it happen to me and to my rational brain that when I'm in the woods, all of this shitty and fearful concepts just take over, and every sound I hear is all of a sudden something really dire that's trying to hunt me down? Yeah. Why is that? And why do I still have the same feeling after weeks and weeks of exposing myself to this stuff? Yeah. Is it so ingrained in me, or is it ingrained in humanity? Yeah. Like, I don't know. What is with people that grew up in more like rural areas and then are more exposed to it? Yeah. Do they have the same thing when they're alone in the woods? Yeah. Like somewhere, but they can ignore it more, or don't they have it? Yeah. Is it about how you grow up, or
Sure.
I don't know. Yeah. I mean,
I think
also, sorry. Also, I'm talking about like Middle European people. Like I don't know how different cultures experience this opposing nature stuff. So thank you.
Do you have any like animals that could come after you in Austria?
Not anymore. We don't. I mean, when someone finds a wolf or something
Right.
that was on national news, wasn't there something like it, Seth?
I think so, yeah.
But in the last years there was one incident, and it was discussed like on national level if someone should hunt that wolf down or not.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Yikes.
Yeah, sure. So we're really entangled with this questioning whether, hunting is good or bad, and what are the pros and the cons, and why is it necessary, for example. And, I just wanted to add to this fear element. I think when I go to the woods now, especially at night when it's dark, the thing I would be most afraid of is if I see another human, and
other humans,
that would, that human turns out to be kind of psychopathic or on a killing spree and wants to kill me, because we're in a state that, I mean, bears aren't that common, for example, and if it's not a mother bear with her cubs and you come near them, it's very unlikely that even if you see a bear that it will just randomly attack you. So the only real threat that we face when going to the forest would be, someone with a with a chainsaw.
Right.
Yeah.
Some really sick person. But I think that's why,
we don't even have like stray dogs in Vienna, I guess. Nah.
Okay.
We
don't have like here we have I'm across a kind of like a major river that's right next to the coast. So there's not much here. Like we have some deer. I saw a fox once, but there's significantly less foxes from where I came from, just across this river. Across the river, there is the occasional black bear, but again, they're not very, like, they're not really, they just want your trash. They're not really going to come after you or anything like that. But, in the States, there are, there's coyotes, there's pumas or cougars, and they can fuck you up, definitely. They're not a big cat, but they can. They'll fuck you up.
Still strong.
Yeah, there's some wolves. Yes, strong. Some wolves. If you go on the more of the west coast, closer to Canada. What else? I said coyotes. I mean, snakes will fuck you up, but I mean,
Yeah.
watch out
And
for snakes.
scorpions as well.
Yeah, scorpions on the west coast, totally.
Do we have
Is there
do we
anything
have
else?
fucked up snakes in Austria?
Not really. I mean, we
I
also
don't
don't
mean
have.
I don't mean fucked up. I mean more dangerous.
Yeah,
Sorry,
dangerous. I think
the one who
Yeah.
disrespect the snakes out there.
Right.
they're definitely more dangerous than the scorpions that we have here. So we don't have.
Yeah.
We
Yeah.
don't really have any threatening scorpions.
Yeah, watch out for
Um,
them.
Yeah, and spiders are pretty harmless actually,
It's
especially when.
fascinating because Austria is such an easy mode country. Like
Yeah.
you know, there's
It's like
just
the
nothing.
anti-Australia, even if
Yeah!
Yeah, right.
sounds-
Yeah.
Yeah.
Take out the L. And every evil animal ever. You've got Austria.
Yeah, which is like I don't know, it's such a soft country.
Yeah. It's just you live, eat schnitzel. It's a
It's
nice
great.
life.
beer, yeah.
Brilliant.
Complain a lot, and that's it. Yeah,
That's the mode of life.
yeah. Nothing here kills you besides some humans, but yeah.
And your resentment
Right.
towards life.
Yeah, it's true. So yeah, we are no step closer to the questions. Why am I so fucking afraid of the fucking woods? Because nothing happened there to me ever.
Fear
Whenever
isn't rational, so
I think it's a primal thing, right?
fear isn't rational.
yeah,
Yeah.
It could totally be a primal thing that it's really embedded in the human DNA.
Or it's
So-
the fact that we don't, if you're not exposed to it, either at a younger age or over time, whatever, you don't know how to exist. How do I exist in the woods? It's like, all right, you
Yeah.
know, I guess I need to make shelter. All right, how do I do that? I need to make a fire. How do I do that? It's like, oh, Google
I-
doesn't work out here. It's like, how would you actually survive?
if I imagine that just getting dropped anywhere,
Mhm.
anywhere, it doesn't have to be like in the Austrian mountains, just on the I don't know, Austrian, like in lower Austria, in the far north where it's more like wood country. Like just drop me there without a phone. Damn. That's just
Right.
that's just fucking frightening. Yeah. I wouldn't know where to go. I would just be maybe I hit a river or a street,
Follow
that
the
fingers
river.
crossed. Yeah. And maybe I would follow it, but on the way, hopefully I find something in a few hours
Right.
because
I gotta
don't know.
find food. What do I do? It's like I gotta hunt. Shit. What am I doing? It's like if you don't know what you're doing, you're gonna fear for your life. We've
Yeah,
become
in the woods.
quite. We've become quite. This might be the wrong term, but neutered in terms of how do we exist, not in the civilized world.
Yeah.
And I think those fears are still here because
Sure.
if you think about it, all this technology and this radical progress we went through as a species, it has been a few thousand years. And what is that in the light of evolution? And if you think that we have been here for a very long time, and I think these fears, it feels so far back and so far away from us, the situation of being lost in the woods, but actually just go a few thousand years back and
Hunter gatherers.
think-
yeah, they knew
I
what
think
they were doing.
so much things happened that we haven't, we didn't even have time to adjust ourselves and our minds to this new world that we live in, and that's why so many people have the feeling of, oh my God, everything is moving so fast.
Everything
I'm
is running
literally
away from
I'm
me, yeah.
literally behind.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
that's one of the biggest fears of young people today. They're left behind and they, just fuck, I don't know where to go.
Yeah, because when you learn something and study it and kind of grasp it, this knowledge could be old Yeah,
Yep.
and
You're
overhauled.
telling me I'm becoming a teacher for biology. So,
Nice.
Yeah.
so
Live and you learn, right?
Yeah.
sure.
Then,
Sure.
and then
Or you
Sure.
learn all the
because-
time. Don't
because-
live, you learn.
what you learned is obsolete already.
Yeah.
Frustrating.
Always got to play catch up. Totally.
Isn't
Especially with
everything
technology.
obsolete in the end?
I mean, yeah, you're right.
Kinda.
Yep.
Come watch TV.
I'll just watch TV. Yeah, right. It's like it's no worries. You don't bother. I'm just gonna watch TV. Is the Super Bowl on? I want to watch that.
Oh, God damn it. That again.
That's
And
amazing.
we're like,
That's amazing. You Austrians are like, oh my god, I need to take off the next day because I'm gonna watch football. Oh my god.
Yeah,
It's like, all right.
fucking football is so crazy here, and we don't even have like a football culture
Right.
like American football.
American
yeah.
football, not soccer.
mm,
Because I'm American.
Yeah, okay.
I call it soccer. I have to call it soccer because it'll be misconstrued with
That's
American football.
That's heresy. Here.
I didn't make the rules. Don't look at me. I didn't do it. I'd get rid of football if I could. Don't at me. 1,000
Yeah,
dislikes on this video.
So, Seth,
Yes.
to bring it to an end,
Yes.
you are releasing new stuff.
In,
You said
Yes.
Yeah.
new single in March.
yep.
When in March?
On the 9th of March. It's usually all of my videos are always coming out on the 9th of every month, so that's easy to
Why?
remember if you know it.
Concept.
Is that the concept? The 9th?
Yeah, it's just my favorite number. It doesn't have any deep
Okay.
application. It's just 9 is my favorite number.
Cool.
That's why I have been. And actually, it's something that people won't know. But this year in November, it's my personal 10-year anniversary of writing music, because 10 years ago in 2011 I wrote my first music, so that's kind of a celebration for me.
Nice.
Is this album that's coming out? It's this,
Okay. So,
Awesome.
March 9th, single.
March 9th single,
And
album in November.
You want
But
to drop? You want to
There are
drop
some in between releases, but until
okay.
then.
Okay.
So it's kind of, this album is somewhat meant as a kind of single compilation, if you will. There's gonna be new stuff on it as well, but as you said, Michael, at the beginning, wait, you have this album, you have 2 albums, you have these singles. I want to bring some order into that. So so some things like Not Here to Fuck Spiders will also be featured on this. So it's just gonna be a nice wrap of everything. But every single will still be released as one video on my YouTube stuff.
Cool.
So you can
Cool.
you have really one video dedicated only to one piece.
Awesome. That's exciting.
Nice. So, anything else that we need to know about the upcoming stuff?
Have I told you about my religion?
Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
No, I don't think so. I mean, there's one cover coming up in April, and I won't spoil anything.
Right.
I won't spoil the artist or anything like that. But apart from that, it's just, I want to make more videos where it's just me and the camera and me talking about things. And yeah, I think
Nice.
this podcast is really a nice, kick into my own bottom, because I've been really uncomfortable talking into a camera, because I'm also, again, very perfectionistic with my speech and everything. And the first time that I wanted to record a video, a vlog type of thing, where just talking about anything, I was stuck. I was here. I froze because, no pressure. I wasn't live. I wasn't live.
Right,
It was.
right.
I could edit everything, but I couldn't record this video.
Okay.
It was really, it's kind
Have
of.
you ever thought about it? This vlog thing by of not producing it, but really doing it live, because then you have to talk and then you have to do stuff?
Yeah, I obviously I've
Yeah.
been thinking a lot about all these things, but I've been really inspired by Christian Hansen, by watching his videos, and they're really what inspired me with his videos is there's not constantly any background music. It's just his voice and him explaining things, and this trend that we see on YouTube towards everything's leaning towards more educational content. And now I'm forced to think, there's tutorials for basically everything. So I really want to make content that brings something new to the table. So it's
Cool.
It's gonna be just me talking about mainly about how I go about doing things, and really we'll see how it goes, but I'm planning on a kind of regular format of me talking about stuff.
Cool.
If I
Looking
may-
forward to it.
Before we finish up, if I might say something, I'm very much a perfectionist as well, and that's why I haven't really released any music.
Yeah.
In reality, but I'm able to do this, so it's kind of the opposite in your perspective.
Yeah.
So I mean, it definitely can be done. It's just because I haven't been great at talking verbally with people most of my life. But
Same, actually.
yeah. So me and Jorg kickstarted this whole podcast experience thing, and I did a few smaller ones in the past, but this is kind of like, it's definitely helpful, and it's good to talk to people within the realm universe that I'm kind of in. The more you talk, it's very enlightening, and all that kind of stuff. So a little sad, but you can do it.
You have to be brave in order to put out something that's gonna be, bad quality. I would say in the beginning, because that's the only way you can go on.
Progress.
Yeah.
You can progress. Yeah, and that's the thing. I think I was basically afraid of my first few videos of that kind being, not on par with the rest of my channel, I guess, where it's easier to control because I'm doing everything in Photoshop, for example, and importing it into the video editing software. So I have full control, and with this vlog format, it's this kind of I feel like I'm losing control because it's it's really me at this point.
Yeah, and that in terms of with music and whatnot, it's like, for me at least, it's like, did I do a good enough job? Did I fully take the thought and cohesively make it the way I think it should be? And right now, a lot of the time, the answer is no, for me personally. And it's I am learning a lot. Just expanding my mind the way I have the last, honestly, 18 months, has been very, very helpful and very informative. And I think I'm in the correct path to correcting all of it. So
that's great.
Yeah, you can do it.
Cool.
Yeah.
Hello, Pat. You want to say goodbye? Here. Say goodbye.
Yes, kid. So, Seth, thanks again for your time and for your
thank you.
insight
Absolutely.
and
My
patience
pleasure.
with us here.
Yeah, we're big dumb cavemen. I'm just kidding. But yeah, it was a fun time.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I think so as well.
And for the few people looking this, thanks for watching.
Especially if you
And,
made it this far. Thank you.
Yeah, always. And thanks again, Mike, for running the show and fighting with technology and bringing us all together under
Technology will
this
fall
experience.
amongst my passion, or what would you call it? My drive. I don't know. Whatever.
Yeah, do it.
Alrighty.
So yeah,
We just about hit 3.5 hours. So congratulations. Is this the longest one? It might be.
I don't know. I feel
Maybe.
like it's average.
Yeah, well, all right.
For us, it's average.
I'm waiting for the day we hit a 4 hour. All right, I'm gonna stop talking.
We can do it.
All right.
So yeah, ending it right here.
Yes, ending it right here. Goodbye.
Signing off.
Cheers.
Goodbye, guys.
Goodbye, good night.
And girls and everything in between.
Everything in between, right? See you.
Animals.
Animals
All animals
too.
watching.
Goodbye.